boring, honestly. It's just low ground, 6 out of 6, 12 out of 12 games. When a team isn't doing the most flashy things and still setting records, and 100% by the way, it is a lot of fun to watch.
Yo, what up YouTube, Mr. Therainmaster, I'm back with another stream. I say another and we haven't streamed for like 2 weeks now. But yeah, I tell you we're gonna be watching the grand finals. Yeah, I've been just doing viewing parties recently. But I think I got a new drop, let's go chat.
Another great pick and another strong team that we're seeing here in the middle of the pyramid.
Claim this shit, claim.
That's gonna be huge. Kind of different now.
Yeah, you can get awards for this, so yeah, you can just watch the streams and get awards.
But at the same time, you are blocked off on certain angles. That could be good for a little bit of the hidey hole spots. Zipple's poking Clement, no strangers to getting Surge.
Let me get to my channel.
I'm excited to see exactly what
Yo, what's up? The intros are back. Why did you switch your profile picture, huh? I have many wives, Cap. You have many males.
And look at this trio that also landed there, using that crash site, rotating out early. And now look at this. Fast Roki region Aqua. Now we're seeing their plan and they're pushing into
so that's actually watching a competitive
So now you
stream.
talk to me about why you think this team has the pop-off potential. Why is it now? Because every FNCS, whoever's rolling with Aqua, it seems like the only move he knows is all in, and the chips never roll his way.
It's about that day to double the points, man. I see it in my mind's eye. They're gonna take height. They're gonna rack in 15 eliminations, end the victory royale that's worth 60
Benji
points.
eliminated off spawn, sad chat.
That's what's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
We'll
see a little bit of a zoom out on the bottom right side of the map. Look at the zone. Gonna be all the way towards the top.
Am I the only YouTuber that has never switched
a lot of the
their
times
profile
when
picture?
players are predicting what happens in the zone next, it even pulls up further. So you'll see the lobby kind of migrate towards that point. We'll see who can actually control the game.
And they didn't put my man Aqua because he
I
would
don't
get
know
every
why.
single
I
one
know
right.
for a
This
fact
man is
Stalks
dead
doesn't know any of
center
these
in the
players.
middle of the zone. Fantastic,
he
and
knows
already
what
you see that
Aqua
stuff. The
is.
Stronghold team has a little bit of higher ground, so it's going to get quite chaotic here in the end game.
Yeah, so what are teams doing right now? Why is everyone just in cars at the bases? What's the most interesting part about this mid-game? It's all about racking up damage and keeping track of something called Storm Surge. So, if this is the first Fortnite tournament you're watching, basically to entice teams to actually do something. So me and you, Son, so don't fall asleep while we're casting. Right, so the viewers have something to watch. Everyone needs to do damage above a certain threshold. There it is. You can see it. I can just read it word for word. It'll do 25 damage every 5 seconds if you don't have enough damage overall above that threshold. So 70 players need to basically be alive by that third storm circle closing over. If they're not, that surge will rock in. The
Motor.
No, day after tomorrow.
This man's fun.
Who do you guys don't know watching replays? Tayson no games now. Day after.
Casting them, they're only on the Defiant dish using that launch pad, and this is what was my concern when I was VOD reviewing everything, was these other southern trios coming from behind. Flyways and Ghosties, they've been here this entire time, and they're gatekeeping all these southern teams, and 4ZR got knocked.
Bro, the name reminds me of Go Testicles.
Kind of basically border patrol right now. The gold booth set up in the middle of the map. Sancho's trying to explain us that when it comes to that launch pad, about 3-4 POIs, more than 10 drops end up using it. And these guys drop there and control it first, so they make sure they know exactly who's moving in and out.
And if you're a Flyways or Ghosts fan, I mean, yeah, you could definitely pick them to do well, but you mentioned it, so much traffic happens, and sometimes you get tempted to just park and sit there and wait. And as you can see, they're rotating in late. Here's a replay. Look at the replay right here. It goes in just a matter of
damn, where's your shit on?
Nasty there, Shio.
The Frenchie gets shit on.
Top two. They're kind of on the backside of Flowless right now, but need to find some
FNCS champs.
Meanwhile, every other team
the Polish
not
kids.
actually, making sure people
pay
their toll on the highway who've actually gotten to their destination so far. Although at Stealthy Stronghold as the zone close in, this is so amazing. Steady Teak in an awesome position. They're always in the middle of the pack, Sancho. They're like in one of the most disastrous places to be on the map to edit, to go for shots, but somehow are unnoticeable. No one ever shoots back at them, and they stay safe till the end of the game. I'm looking at a team playing exactly the way they did in the last FNCS. And what happened there, they basically won the whole competition in one day. They set amazing records, and it was an EU, one of the hardest regions ever. They made day 2 an absolute breeze for their own team. Looks like they might be able to do it again.
When I was doing VOD reviews for this team, what usually gets in trouble in previous seasons is having other teams that need Surge next to them as the Surge warning goes off. When you have a team that's desperate, that goes box diving, sometimes this team struggle when you have more than one. Lately, they've been getting better on their defense. They've been getting a lot better fighting together hip to hip. So in the past, they used to be run over when Storm Surge. Now, they're in better positions, and they're going to know how to fight anyone that pushes in, that W keys into their area.
Absolutely, we were explaining Surge before as well. That's the pop-up on the right
Benji's
side
alive?
These guys are 283 damage above the threshold. There's about 25 players that need to go down.
Let's go, chat.
A lot of teams rolling in the sauce
PPG.
as well. See exactly how they handle things in terms of staying above that threshold.
Shut the fuck up.
One that's the lowest right now is around 200 below, and Alex 60 below. All this fighting all the way from Misty. Stopped and Boney, lost 4 ZR, and they still don't have enough damage. In 57 seconds, Sancho, that lightning will start to strike.
This is what happens here. You know, the lack of preparation, the miscue, the misstep in their plan, their execution. They decided to kind of try to hold off Sky's trio, and it's caused this whole avalanche of problems.
Bro, you watched
and I
Tommy
don't know,
in the
man.
stream for
This is going
5
to be,
minutes,
again, one of those games that could just say, hey, GG's, let's go ahead and try to fix it the next game.
Oh, look at this.
Damn.
No fixing to be done here. It's just destruction.
Hellfire, scram. Come on, scram. Clutch up.
The kind of difference maker in this fight.
Nice.
He might just with a huge
wait, is that amplifier?
His teammate kind of out as well. That was really slick by Flows to kind of even things out overall. They can go for that revive as well. Pressure will take still a little bit of a 3v2 Melody. Looking to keep dropping it. Fix edits, notice as well. The more this fight goes on, the more noticeable it is to every arrow and weapon part.
Loki, that was a clutch.
Not as nice as Flo is trying
that's
to
clutch, that's
Let's
clutch.
get Brock down on his
oh, it's
shield.
Monaco.
For him overall. Yeah, I know Monaco looking for his type of angle. Scram, trapped in
what do you mean,
a little bit of a box. Some of the builds might not even be his. This is a world of pain and hurt for everyone. They can't even move out, Sancho. Every house is taken. Absolutely rented out. There's nowhere else to go. One of these teams needs to win this fight.
114 mats.
465.
Bro, look how... oh my goodness. Did you see how, like...
What a great work by that trio.
Did you see their ammo? 14 shotgun ammo, no ammo for Scarlet, and no ammo for SMG.
Getting themselves an elimination in the process, so that's very key.
Now you can see the difference in worlds, basically, right? Everyone is really well set off.
Hey, what's up, Rupert?
Like Steady, Cammy, and Teak. Looking to see what they want to do Aqua, all the way in the crash sites. Then you look at this right now, kind of the poverty line.
Bro, when are you gonna play? I want you to play.
Yeah, Andalex inside the zone as well. They're all in box fights. They're just desperate. Teammates also down. Hellfire.
Bring back the goats.
With amazing shots, and that team's also getting targeted by Surge. So that's a double up. And now they're just gonna have to do this with 2 players overall.
Big surprise considering that trio Scram came in at 2nd place last season, but now we're looking at another trio to be a lot better here, newly formed for this one.
Wait, how's school going for you?
Coming from Believer Beach, and hey, this is what I'm talking about. Procrastination is going to get you in trouble here, but luckily they have the box fighting skills, kind of bail them out. You know those people that like never study, but all of a sudden get still get an A? You're like, that's what Janice and Vidil O'Reilly are doing right now.
What
are you sick? What are you sick with?
There's Vidil O'Reilly. One of the things that O'Reilly and Vidil especially just like to do a lot is go for those isolated box fights to keep up with Surge. We saw it at the very beginning of the year. It's going to stay the same all throughout. Sometimes you can really push the brakes and go for long-range tags, but you like to see some of the best fighters in you actually.
Right, so we're not seeing Gamma in front of Thomas usually.
All their Surge dealt with in that early game off the mountains when there were snipers. Thomas was popping off with them too, but right now they keep it classy.
I just want to put a pause on the play-by-play. Look at that mini-map, folks, right there. Look at how many trios here are rotating late into the southeast stronghold. That's the issue that you want to avoid. You want to have a clean rotation, and that's what Thomas AT Queasy. Look at all the options.
I just need to see if Benji shows
into the safe zone.
Wait, did they get rebooted?
The tsunami is what's going to look like all the way at the very end of this. Everyone's going to start to stack on top of each other. That wave of players in box will start to just get higher and higher overall. But there's some invincible walls. Thomas AT is everybody to be okay. Player here as well. Some of the top teams. The worst thing, absolute disaster, is getting stuck on the rotation.
Damn, Thomas. Okay, chat. After this, we're gonna see the tour. Let's see how much Thomas rages.
And they struggle getting to it.
That's where it happens. so much has been used
No,
right now. Thomas
Twitch,
HD
don't fail
on
on
the
me.
back foot.
Fuck.
Does have a launch pad, he just wanted
Twitch,
to
don't fail
extend
on me,
himself. I
please.
mean, he's not even near the placement points. I think he's just
Bruh,
on the cusp of
why
actually
doesn't he
getting
launch?
a little bit more of a chunk.
Just
He could make
fucking
it past
launch, you
25
dumb
with that lobby
bitch.
focus. Oh my goodness, it's strong, but he does have the heals, does have the chunk
My
splash.
man has the
Just needs
efficiency
to
of
go
a
ahead and
dumbass.
stabilize.
I'm joking.
Woosah.
And who's the one actually
lucky.
making all this chaos happen? It's Tayson and
Lucky.
Chapniks. They kind of started on this side of the map. They're kind of
And
feeling fresh
Lithuanian, bro.
at
I'm
home.
gonna have dinner.
Just a little bit down
you
the
wanna play in a
neighborhood.
bit? Yeah,
you know,
yeah, okay.
right down
Just
the
don't
block,
ignore me
Vader,
this
right?
time,
Yeah,
okay?
and you can see these guys just absolutely tearing people up trying to move in.
Yeah, and they've been working. Tayson only has about 30 medium assault rifle bullets, so it's like they've been putting in a lot of work. And no doubt they may be high on the storm surge because Tayson doesn't miss.
Ruber is probably gonna be better
Absolutely
than
not.
me. No
Look at
cap,
this though.
because I haven't played this game.
inside Stealthy Stronghold.
I started playing yesterday, and before that I didn't play this game for an entire week.
Might be a good position
Yeah.
like a tarp in his home, but after this, if it moves out of the stronghold, they have a huge job to do.
I'm just
to move
saying. I hope
remember
next
a couple
season is a new
seasons
chapter.
ago, being in the bowl of the Stealthy Stronghold, you'll get eliminated very quickly if this storm washes back here, so they have to be careful.
Yeah, and I really love this overall update for what the points look like right now across the board. Flyways, Ghostless, they're looking really good in terms of just being ahead of the pack entirely. The eliminations, the guarding they did overall makes them just be a little bit further ahead, taking out XP Sports Jar completely as well. Puts them about double the points of anyone else. You know, upkeep that lead, but this is where the ties kind of change. All those mid-game warriors maybe doing so much work will be put slightly behind everyone.
Ruber, if you're still here, remember the fucking Renegade Raider kill with like 10k subs?
This is where they get
That
to
gets
play.
so
This
cringe.
team, not so much though, because it's just Thomas HD.
Not being, he just has an ego.
We've seen him clutch
It can be-
before. I know we're.
It's good to have an ego, but when you like,
this man
it depends what type of ego. If you have a good ego, it's alright. If you have a fucking bad ego and just stick it up everybody's face, then
I think he started that trend of, hey, game one, my teammates are down, let me just clutch up 20 points and keep us in the running. The win condition with Thomas HD right now isn't getting a huge pick, isn't just getting full high gun or trying to win the game. It's just trying to stay alive, stay on top of placement. 97 damage above the threshold. He just needs to land a few shots, doesn't need to convert them into anything. Make sure the mats are fine, pray for those zone pulls, and just stay in the game.
That's what's all on the line right now. My concern is that Storm Surge, only 66 above. It's gonna take a knock. Oh my goodness, it is not easy, and he's gonna have to box fight the Malabuka. That's not gonna happen here, but now we're just seeing how everybody else is positioning here. And look at that, it's half in and half out. That's gonna be the danger here. It's not only half in and half out in the storm, but the Stealthy Stronghold splits that safe zone almost in half.
Yeah, one side stronghold, the other side just free farm fields.
gaffed up.
Not going to be too much action on that side, though. We're still looking at the outside, the danger zone.
He's gonna burn all his hard
no one
mats.
can really call it home. That
As soon as he goes to where everybody's gonna start spraying.
He has nothing else to do, just kind of rocking down a timer, but it's not seconds he's counting. It's his materials, his mats. Now just up the wood, 500 left. He's at a sliver of a spot. He actually tries to respond back to 3 players with the gets dropped down and runs into 2 himself.
It was Verox.
If you're ever in that situation, you gotta break the line of sight, move over, extend out. You just did not have enough hard mats to withstand. And of course, when you see someone in trouble, the edit down was all it took to get him eliminated. On Aqua gets eliminated by Chapniks. So our picks are not doing so well so far, but it does not matter right now. Let's see who will walk away with that victory royale here in game 1 of the Grand Royale.
Aqua going down really good for Thomas HD.
Nice.
It's not for Thatch as well.
Okay.
Why is it good? Because he's right above him in these layers. Everything in the space is just going crazy.
Yeah, you remember when I said this man will not box fight Malabuka?
Come on, shit on that Malabuka.
I stand corrected. Strike the record. This man will go into that, and he got Malabuka really weak.
Yeah, and players actually can't see the lightning or hear it strike until it actually cracks shield. So I think he heard Shy's shields kind of go down. He knows Malabuka's in trouble. He's going for the shots, but actually also smells and senses desperation.
Okay, he got the knock.
Storm's going to take out Malabuka. He's got the server on his side right now, Sancho. One player needs to go down for the Surge to stop. He's still kind of in a power play position. Just needs to delay one of those first AR shots.
Let's
also
go.
Shy's, but is it the elimination?
Malabuka shit on.
I'm not sure. There's Malabuka.
Yes.
Is there another? Oh, almost. I don't think it actually racked in for his team. Maybe. It did?
No, I was just saying the big thing that more importantly is he got the refresh that he desperately needed. He was really low on hard mats, got about 500. So now the Thomas HD clutch factor, the superstar that we know he can be, is now well equipped for endgame.
I think Bubak knows exactly where he is overall, though, and what's going down here. So many materials left inside this box. If Thomas is able, as he has zone, to tarp all the way out, come back and pick these up, he essentially has the inventory of 2 players to work with.
Below 179. Now,
Somerville.
Corner, you could hear as much of those bullets rattling off in the distance. Every connected
What do you mean
shot
username?
puts Thomas HD behind that Storm Surge
Today I'm
8
not
ball,
gonna do
folks.
30 seconds though to see exactly what he wants to do. Let's say all of them on the
Damn,
backside. Has that launch pad and probably
213.
just wants to use it late. Still locking in a little bit. This is one of the advantages you have when you're really working with time. A half back,
just
2
confused why
nice
he
dodge
dropped the
towards the
bull
right.
charge.
Playing low ground might be tough, so staying in middle, yeah. And
But
elevating
he
yourself. A
can
genius
clutch
move from Thomas HD. Scram picking up a few in the feed. 46 players now looking at things. Have to drop down all the way to 35 once the second zone locks in. And Thomas is still pressuring down and finding almost a few eliminations just as a solo player.
It's unbelievable to see what Thomas can do. A lot of people had so many questions for him considering he went down, but there is no question right now who is in the power position to win this game. That is Vidil, Nor, Riley, and Janice.
They're looking really good on height. Recently just fought for Equated. Now they just need to make sure to hold on, make sure to bolster it as much as possible. Reconnect as well as Genius. Thomas HD,
He needs to do some.
his world is starting to get a really
It's a GG
really
for
chaotic
Thomas.
and different. Lightning
Yep,
now striking,
GG.
232 damage below. 1 more second basically
Yeah,
left.
GG.
He needs to land a big pump. 113. Another one to finish. Is he above?
He's so lucky.
Not just yet. Oh
It's a
my god,
GG.
ticking down to the zone. All the
Bro,
way down to
how?
20
He's
HP.
the luckiest player of all
As that
time.
surge
What?
turns off. Just surviving by the skin of his teeth, down to 4 HP. How is this man alive?
That's what I'm thinking, chat. What?
Thomas HD is punching up
Bro.
game 1 in a way he should not be allowed to.
How?
So the universe comes to and makes sure everything is possible physically right again. He goes down, but what a performance.
The defending FNCS champion, Cammy, had to stop the run of Thomas HD. Now it's Cammy and Seti, the duo, working together to maybe withstand and get those placements that they're really known for. And this is, look at this, 7 eliminations and a possibility for a top 10 finish. Wow, what a great start for the defending FNCS champion.
No problem.
Yeah, but
Low-key,
they don't have that end game.
they
freak to
can
be able
win
to
easily.
Go into low ground
They're too
and
good.
pop off over and over again. This is going to have to be another all
When
in from this
Benji
team.
do? When
we
is
see it
Benji
happen.
gonna
Oh, never
fucking
mind. Kenny
win?
actually gave his match over to Seti to make sure to all the way tarp in. He needs to pop this med kit off. 8 crucial seconds to see what they can do. At the same time, Hottie Sap is popping out beside the feed, Port going down, mixing all the way on low ground. It's getting super active. Meanwhile, Janice O'Reilly, Vidil, they're looking so good on height. They're forcing everyone to fight below them. 7 eliminations for this team.
Ooh.
Now they go for the shots in the all-in.
Ooh.
There's the first one. Clean
Okay.
out this flare. Extermination as Futrick goes down. They're just fumigating
Ooh.
every single box. This is too much, and they have another
Oh my
sandwich
goodness.
play down. That's just
Oh, it's
cutting
on-
back,
but it's
pump
only
shots
Cammy
over and
left.
over. It'll cost Seti his life, but Cammy, he's active now, going for those double-digit eliminations.
It doesn't matter if they're a full trio, they own the low ground. They're gonna possibly get a big finish right here. They went from top 10 now to top 5, and this is what I'm talking about. It's these free placement points, the points that they're not
Yeah,
supposed
he's
to get.
popping it off.
This trio does.
Oh my, the
Cammy
missed
almost
shot.
backside outfield, but misses the
Oh my
box
goodness.
Inside the stronghold, but what is really safe? Not this player inside the
Oh,
box. 8
it
HP,
saved
the
him.
siphon can't come through. Elo Crash is there to make sure he doesn't see the light of
Ooh,
day again.
Vidil.
Now Vidil, he's hunting. He doesn't want to just let the game run out. He wants to finish it himself. He
Yeah, they're
finds
winning this.
Elo Crash
No
all the way
shot.
on low. No chance for a heal game. He's making sure his entire trio stays alive as well. They don't just win. They do it in style.
Noah Riley.
Noah Riley
Dead.
down. Maybe the fashion isn't looking as good as it should be. Big edits from Vidil.
Can
Blocked
he
by
cut-
Ram.
Aw.
Goes down very smart, plays all the angles, but don't forget about Janice. Don't forget about the big boys controlling height.
Yo,
Since
what's
the
up,
start
man?
of that end game and winning it, the first game victory royale.
7 eliminations to boots, but the story has to be that now these lobbies are doing solo clutches in
Damn.
what is
They
known
have
as
Fury
the
bug.
most strongest
Okay.
lobby we've had
Fury
in a
does.
long time. It's Grand Royale, folks.
Absolutely, that was just amazing from Janice, Vidil, Noah Riley. A phenomenal game overall.
That's what we like to see, folks, and that's just only game 1.
What?
And we're gonna be here for 5 more, Shayo. But yes, I was very impressed there by the solo clutches. But at the end of the day, when the trio's on height, they have the power.
What?
Yeah, and this is one of the trios that we were looking at to really show that power explode.
Why is there
last
only
episode of CS.
2017?
Looks like they've been saving it for the after show, the epilogue. I really want to know what the desk is thinking about that one, Sancho, because if this team is rocking in and they're controlling the game, that's trouble for everyone else inside the field.
Gentlemen, first off, gotta say, game one, super dope. Sancho, it is so good to have you back. I've missed you so very much. Guys, I cannot believe what has just transpired in game number one. Sadie, Cammy, and Teak, of course. You know they're doing this. They're getting the run back. It's like we're watching Chapter 2, Season 8, right? They're back there. We're like, oh, where are they? Oh, wait, they're placing third, and now they have 10 eliminations. Vadil, No, Riley, Janice, they got the Victory Royale with 7 eliminations as well, but I mean, that's basically the same amount of points, right? Because of these extra eliminations, because of this high placement, now you have these two Titans once again going, okay, we're back at this again, huh? We're getting the repeat? Okay, that sounds good to me.
Zeke, do you know what's so crazy to me? We've spent the whole year talking about this team and how they needed a bit more firepower. Yeah, they got the fundamentals, yeah, they got everything sorted out, but they need a bit more firepower. Cammy went absolutely insane there, right? Like, I've never seen somebody just sort of, you know, go so unchained, right? Like, he really, you know when people say pressure makes diamonds, like that was really Cammy in that end game there. Some of the shots he was hitting, Reese, like that was filthy.
Yeah, and it started right here, like right at the start of the game. He set himself up so easily to look out, and this is something we've been talking about all season, right? Cammy say Teak always get that high drop. They always make sure they situate themselves on a high elevation, get someone out of the sky, easy storm surge tags, and that's what set them up so easily to pop off in the end game with Cammy up to the ground. He had 8 elims to himself, which was absolutely massive. Some of the other early game stuff that we looked at too, over with Steamy Stacks, we saw it happen from Andrea, and this was purely all down to, let's be real, this was a bad drop from Andrea. He did not get the god drop. He didn't deploy at the right angle. He misses the weapon. He sees Mustache down there.
I'm so confused. Why does it only say 27
We love Andrea here. He's my boy.
I got him.
We love Andrea, and he knows we love him, but it was absolutely trash. I don't know what to tell you. That was a trash drop. Like, look, the Grand Royale was the biggest event we've had since World Cup way back in the day. Like, you gotta come out here on a serious thing. Like, you can't come out here with a bad drop. And look, that's what cost you. They were like the only team that went down. Like we had 96 players in the lobby for like the whole game until endgame, it felt like. So, you know, they don't want to be in that position again moving forward.
First place gets
that game was just so
600k.
sad. Like, I'm still thinking about that game in totality. Like,
Hey, what's up?
You know, the amount of solo culture, that's about Thomas.
How you doing for the 1k subs challenge?
You know, he's signed to Astralis now. He's feeling good about himself. They didn't have the best of times.
How's it going so far?
Season.
We should do 420 subs challenge, like 4,200.
5 minutes before this.
4,000, yeah, 4,200.
You saw the shots that he was hitting onto Malabuka to pick him up off spawn earlier in the 5th zone there. Now he's coming up with this massive clutch, getting up to the top 5, and he secured his team as a solo. That what I think.
Had a bad zone.
Yeah, this is the weirdest song.
Had a bad zone.
Okay, they're in game.
12 games. That
no way, you guys are
12. Coming out about the storm surge coming through there, but Thomas absolutely made the most of that situation and clutched up, and that's what you need on your team. You need a guy like Thomas, and this is his week clearly.
I'm fanboying. I love it. You know, he has such a vivacious way of playing the game, and seeing him in his element in endgame there. Wow, beautiful.
So good. Well, that's it for us for right now.
Hey,
it's
what's
time to
up,
jump back into the action. Go back over to Shyway to Sancho West for game number 2.
How much you have now?
Grand Royale.
Thanks so much, Zeke 11 and Reese.
Yes, it doesn't let me check.
Anas' team with a 20-point clutch. Said he came Teak with a low ground.
Like, why did they remove it so that you could just like
last season is kind of happening again.
Click
in the
that
Grand
you can
Royale.
watch them.
I mean, I think it's because it's so close. I mean, we literally just had the other
He
finish
sounds
of
like
FNCS
KSI.
Chapter 2 Season 8 like a couple weeks ago, and
Just
now
because my
we're still in
man's
the same season.
playing
Normally you
KSI.
have an FNCS
Okay,
competition
good to you
a
too.
couple more
Yeah,
weeks,
but
new metas,
the thing
new weapons
is,
coming out, maybe
you
a new
will.
ability item, so that's why it kind of
You
feels
know
like
how many
deja
people do
vu,
that
but I
challenge?
think there's a little bit more differences
He's
that
gonna
that
show
Thomas
out.
HD trio is looking a lot stronger than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, they have
Next
these
match
games to
starts
make sure
now,
to continue
chat.
to keep that consistency, but to look at the deja vu list and keep going on, we've got basically Aqua all in for height, failing on that half and half kind of zone, right? That happened before as well, but when they do lock it in, Sancho, I believe with you, they will hold it down. Just getting one good game in, that's always something that happens overall.
Well, got my
these big teams struggling
taboo.
with the north side zone. Where will it go this time, though, for game number 2? That is the question as we roll in and see who's gonna get that second victory royale.
Game 2 of 6.
It's a
We're
YouTuber
gonna
with.
usually do the same plan.
Oh,
and
damn.
hopefully Andretta
Wait,
gets a
9K?
better drop. And as you can see here, it's the same
Stop
kind of
that.
a bust, a little bit more of an angle. So we still
What the
see
fuck?
that Steamy Stacks engagement right off the rip.
Let's go, boys. You want to give me a little shout out? Lol. Oh, nice.
Fighting on Kurama, getting electric.
It's big on YouTube.
Just
damn.
gotta see here, Malibuca, MrSavage, they want this main building, and this is if they could hold
Should I
on
do
to
shorts,
that. You
Jeff?
can see the power they have, and then once again,
Aimbot
Janice
3
goes
dot
down
point.
early in Believer Beach. This is the second match in a row that
Here's
just
the best
happened.
part.
And even though they were able to get the victory royale, you gotta be a little bit of a
You got it to
concerned.
mark.
Gotta be concerned when you go down that early.
Oh my,
because
for fuck's
eventually
sake, I just
the odds will catch up to you. Right now,
I'll just
Sophie, if you're
fucking type it
Andretta, you're a Savage and Benji fan. You're happy right now. But like I said in
Wait,
the
chat,
previous
let's just
match,
watch
they
this
cannot
really
go
quick.
down.
Let's
If one
watch
of them
the soft
goes
spot.
down, historically, Malibuca just runs them over right after that. They need to get the early knock to be able to survive this engagement.
I think the fans will be happy, yeah, because they might just be a little bit alive, but Andretta, no way to really have a conversation at long range.
No
just an
mass
SMG,
for Andretta.
and that lever action
It's
rolling
a
in.
GG.
Savage at 1 HP has a few shields. Andretta will
Yeah, it's
actually
a GG.
want to look just like him. Put on the same clothes, aka no HP
Oh.
whatsoever. Benjyfishy already down. Savage now at 101 HP to roll in, but most of it just shields.
Andretta
These
got
guys are
a
looking clinical
dip.
this time, Sancho. Before, it was strugglesome. It was a little bit fractured from both teams. It would go blow for blow inside this boxing match.
Okay,
over and over.
we can
But
we
this
know
time
who
rolling
won.
in, Malibuca, Mustache, and Shies look
Yeah,
like they have
GG.
trucks attached to their fists, not gloves. They are rolling through Savage, Benji, and Andretta.
Last season, the results of these kind of fights led to a 23rd finish for the boys of Andretta, Benji, and Savage. The only saving grace is that last game, they got double-digit eliminations in the victory royale. And if that was to happen
now I
again
can't
in
find
day
it, nice.
2, they will shoot up the leaderboard. So that's what I mean with this kind of format. It's different. All these players, they haven't
Yeah, I'll
played
check
in
on
this
my
format.
tab again.
And so we got to keep an eye on that. And the other thing we got to keep an
I thought
eye on
Benjyfishy was
is
best player.
analytics.
Why he died
Do
so
they
fast?
hurry up? Did they
Why he's
pick up
shooting
the
at the wall?
tempo? Because last time they really hurt themselves by
sec.
taking too long trying to pick on this team out of the disco club.
No spaces, bro. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
where else will they get that damage, though? Big thing for analysts like Suiz and 4CR, these north zones just keep pulling them all the way over to spots of the map where they're not going to be performing as well. Every time it's a little bit more southern, mountainous, or center zone overall, that's where they really can have control, dictate who moves back and forth. But when they have to
Community
be the
posts
movers,
are
that's where we
underway.
see a little bit of struggle.
And that's what happens here. When
Nice.
that first zone's revealed, you have to have a plan to be able to move faster. And last time when I was watching the NA West, when I was covering that region 2 seasons ago, you see Arkham's trio, they have these warp-type rotations. You'd be like, wait a minute,
133K views, what the
Misty
fuck?
Meadows? How can they be? I mean, these guys move fast. And that's what you got to do. You got to move fast. Everything's on a timer right now, and all these Fortnite pros know that timer. And considering that Noah Riley here is going to have to work as a duo with
20K?
Correction, the reboot van goes off. Now they're a full force trio, so we're seeing that trio could handle the little bit of issues. They could come back at full force, and they could win a victory royale.
What?
Just like utilizing, all aspects of the game. If there's a reboot, use it. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
I think Janice would just even go down to fall damage to be able to get rebooted and keep that regular mantra up, even if he's uncontested.
And at the same time, you'll be able to have a longer reboot card time. It's been a change. I know the last season has been in there, and that's definitely helping out, not only in the competitive scene, but in pubs. And now, Thomas HD looking good. And this is our teams right now. This team's in 2nd place. Thomas HD's clutch was able to get him to 8th place coming into this match.
Nice. Said he can retake this POV. Actually gives us a little bit of insight to where the zone is as well. It was calling completely north and trouble for Analex's team overall. But if you look at it, it's kind of central towards the right. We're looking at Dirty Docks. We're looking at maybe even a little bit of a retail pull depending on how things are looking and feeling. MrSavage will have a lot of control over every team that wants to go back and forth, flyaways, and Ghostless aren't done yet with their fights. They're still bullying people, but this time it's looking a little bit more scratchy.
These are the kind of fights that are definitely scratchy because of that pad. You could have
I have a
disengagement
lot
just
of
like kind of
likes.
with
Yeah, I
Steamy Stacks. The IO vehicles
By the
as
views
well.
I see.
They could get out of people, go into Weeping Woods. One of the things though that really worked for Fly Ghosting and Waves for the previous round is they had a lot of people rotating late to them that were kind of weak, that had to use a lot of materials to get here, and just like that, Waves, oh no, in the woods. I love these plays.
Andretta can still win this chat.
Yes, sir! I love the car plays. It takes me back, man. That's the kind of plays you need to make to survive.
I just don't
in the
get
Grand
why
Royale. 1 HP,
Benji
Shia,
keeps
1 HP
going
in a
like
dream.
they don't dip.
If
Why?
you can't build,
Oh
just
my
hop in
goodness,
the
my
whip and just
PC
end up double
almost.
bumping and instantly
Okay.
jump out and win off the rip. This is crazy for Waze, turning a situation
They should
that
just
should not
dip,
be winnable
like, no cap.
into a crazy one, and he wasn't even in the driver's seat for that one. He kind of just Grand Theft Auto that entire car. That's just not allowed. That's just insane.
And that's why we saw them get so many eliminations in game 1, and they start game 2 with the cheeky one. Let's go.
Siptos, Loki, Clement, not the craziest early game for them, and it never really is. They just end up rotating fast, end up just in Lazy Lake as well, picking up all the scraps they can. That was insane though from Waze. If that's the way their game is going, no wonder there might be a little bit of struggle inside endgame. It's just maximum stress at all times.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the replay.
Damn.
Folks, look at that green
1
bar.
HP, by the way.
1 HP.
How many shots does he dodge? That's one dodge with a 50. Back in. Simplify's like, wait,
That's
this
not
is my
possible.
car. Gets the siphon. Oh my goodness.
My man has the
For
best
me,
reaction time
that's play of the season
time
so
of all
far. I
time.
know we had an entire
Fuck's
episode
sake.
before, but in terms of early game,
He has the
that's
best
just
reaction
insane.
time
Let's go
of
ahead
all
and
time.
put the clip
Yeah.
right there. That is the play so far. It's even
Cameo
beat.
getting
I love it.
searched.
That's the kind of, like I
in
said,
the
those are
same
plays you
fucking
need
spot
to
like
make,
always.
man. I mean, it's kind of like they always say that, you know, you need to win your 50-50s. You need to win your 1v1s, and that was a 1v1. He had the first shot, and then all of a sudden, he gets bopped, gets down to 1 HP. I'm still speechless about that, but what was speechless was this team's performance last season.
Yeah, I mean, left us just flabbergasted and wondering, hey, do we even need to watch day number 2? This time, though, no matter what they do on day 1, there should be a chance for everyone to just clap back and control things, maybe even pop off on that day number 2. The biggest thing about Seti Kamitik, though, is that how do you stop them? They're at such a niche drop that they know, right? It's not like you're landing at steamy stacks. There's 3 buildings like recent level we're breaking down. You can't really see exactly where the power points are early game. You can't track them in the mid game because they're kind of far away from everyone else. Dirty Docs is in their own fight 24/7. And in the end game, you want to control low. You know how difficult that is? And they have a wrap on it. It's just absolutely
The only
beautiful.
reason I'm getting back on front is the
Now we're seeing right here Michael Astro Verox
Anime
cleaning
nerd.
up here
Nah,
the
I'm
Dirty
joking.
Docs with Lucius trio.
I don't watch it,
Lucius
but I know
really
what
low
it
at the
is.
moment
I
here,
think that
and
would
this
be
is
the
what
only anime I would
Cami
actually
Seti
watch.
Teak want to see because they know they can kind of dip in at their party if they want to, but Lucia tried to get away and gets denied.
That's what I like. The best things about these 1v3 fights is when you don't actually take that much damage or use too many mats wrapping it up. So that's kind of what Michael was focusing on. Did it very nicely, barely anything used, and they get the control and just move out of their spot as fast as possible. Big boys rolling in this time. Also not looking to clutch, maybe to have a little bit more of control. That's Squeezy and us, Thomas HD. I mean, last game, or every tournament, not last game, but last tournament, the tournament before that, their day, their entire story just starts off with a solo clutch. I just feel like that's what it is. If we can check in the back, look for the stat as to if that is the thing, because I swear to God, seeing us with a solo 20-point game over and over again every single season. They're no strangers to that strat in this Grand Royale either, and they're going to be doing really good if they all stay alive as well.
And you're seeing what their strategy is for Storm Surge. They're going to dip into Dirty Docs when they see that feed light up with some eliminations from Verox's trio or Lucius trio. They're going to go ahead and roll in. They're going to see what they could kind of take.
Come on,
they weren't able to get
Verox,
any kind of
Kings of
successful
Dirty,
tags, but
win this.
now we're seeing what their strategy is, because sometimes they dip down into the Camp Cod area, or sometimes they rotate over into that Flush Factory.
The funniest thing
but
is
now we're
they
seeing that they
didn't
want to take
wall
advantage of this
for
log
the,
jam
like,
that's happening here in Dirty
32
Docs.
like the 32 games they didn't win once, but they fall through
So
consistency.
did buy. We'll check out the merchandise. Meanwhile, all the way at Corny Crops, a little bit over towards the west. See Screwy, Stompy, and Shady looking for their chance to do a little bit of damage. It'll be base-to-base tags, which are always the most difficult to manage because
I get his friend.
people can always reply back to you. You cannot leave them on Do Not Disturb.
And this trio's
Yeah,
been
I'm
pretty
sure
much
maybe
being put
I need to
together.
post
You have
more,
Shady,
but
who's his
just
first time in the
school
FSS.
and everything, so
Scurvy
I'm a
in
little
the
bit
last time
busy.
he here, he finished 26th place
so
in
I
season
can't be
6
consistent.
of chapter 2. But Stompy is their workhorse. This man is a trio season X champion. I mean, they came in 3rd place in season 7 in chapter 2 with Pink and Nebs and Stompy. So Stompy feeling like, you know, he wants some validation here. I mean, a little bit of disrespected in terms of not having a trio. And I'm surprised that Pink and Nebs dropped Stompy here, considering he's such a decorated veteran in the Fortnite scene.
And people might just be switching things up all the way for the last tournament of the year, right? Trying out maybe one different flavor.
I mean, that flavor was working, though.
The flavor was working. I'm trying to advocate, like, what could they do? It was such a nice team, man.
It was a good team, man. They always were there. They always contested for height, but that's going to be a very valuable member. So Stompy definitely has to stay on his feet for Shady and Scrivy.
Tayson Chapik's Hendo, they're staying up in the sky. Looking real good so far. I'm having a little bit of a sense of danger, though, for a lot of teams. They're all on these high bases. No one's really getting shots off on each other.
I remember this year. You flashing back. Remember when Savage's trio was in the blue end this, and we're like, oh, they're in a perfect position, and all of a sudden the storm kind of pushed them out, and they just went down so early, and they had no ammo.
Jeff, thoughts on
that's that kind of sense of danger you're feeling right now.
Jeff, thoughts on
every time I see people on that antenna, especially super early, nothing ever good ends up happening.
Being
It's
you know,
it's a really good idea, but
being
and honestly, it's
I think
probably
that I
what
think that's the
100% what they should be
only
doing, is just every time we
chance
sit on broadcast,
Benji
for some reason that team
and
becomes absolute
Savage have
shambles in like
winning
3 minutes.
Yes.
It's like cursed.
because
But
they are the
there's no really
DreamHack
deal.
champs.
I think it's good that they struggle, and we see them struggle earlier on.
Like
If
they
Genesis
would
knock,
definitely
they have
win
storm
right
surge
now,
issues,
but they just
usually end up
need
fixing
an
them and then
uncon
winning
spot.
games.
Like
So
that's why
they're on
does
that path right
Malbuga
now,
have
but
to
they
go
take too much
steep?
damage. They can't solve this
He's not gonna
problem.
play, so I
Should be
don't get
wraps for game 2. Genesis really looking forward to fixing this, going for anything right now.
If this is exactly their method of operation, how they fix Storm Surge, like I said, they don't do their homework. They go ahead and just ace the test here, and they do it with their box fighting skills. I wish I had these mechanics to be able to fix the holes in my game, because this is definitely a hole Noah Riley Genesis Vidil game is Storm Surge. So, you know, just like a big old drywall plaster right there, it fixes it up easy with the box fight.
Now you got to pick the right wall, though. Got to pick the right location. The last time we watched in game number 1 their fight, completely isolated, 3v3, no other team even on the mini map, or even if you zoomed it out around them. This time in Corny Crops, they've invaded a base that was very active. A lot of teams know they're here, and it's a 3-team base as well. So we'll see what ends up going down. They're gonna have to really force this fight. Vidil already down, and this was the trick that kind of tripped them over and over again in seasons, going for the wrong fight at the wrong time. Unfortunate, they're not going to be able to find a more isolated one. One teammate down, and this is just Struggle City Central.
The Storm Surge doesn't care about time. You gotta go, you gotta move, you gotta fight. And that's what's happening right here. I don't doubt Janice Vidil nor I don't want to take this engagement though.
Have to use chugs to make sure Vidil does not actually go down to that surge as he's knocked. Janice still's going to lose his shields at the same time as Noah Riley tries to help. He also gets rattled in the back. This is going to be tough. It might just be down to Noah Riley, and then at the end of the day, no damage even done back and forth from Janice's side. Still 139 below. Noah Riley with a legendary pump is looking for something, but cannot connect a single shot. This is the trouble.
Can
Vidil finally fully confirmed.
first game winners
No,
not win?
Find anything. One shot is good enough, but not
I think
going to be
it's,
the total problem
but if
solver.
anybody
Still
can
70
clutch this,
damage
it's
below.
Noah Riley.
There's
As
so
soon
many
as I
teams'
say
heads
that.
he can really just pick apart, and
Oh
who's
my
gonna be the
God.
first one that he finds. Another big chomp down, and a van
Oh
should be
my
available
goodness.
close by. He needs to act fast though, because there's still teams waiting inside the zone to pick this team apart.
He needs to activate the clutch gene
Oh
right now.
my
More importantly,
goodness.
9 people have to go
Oh
down.
my
And no,
goodness.
he goes down himself. Stompy and Co, who we highlighted a little bit ago, go ahead and get the job done. And hey, you just did not ace that test. It catches up to you every now and then. Let that be a lesson for you at home, kids.
Nah, I swear, it doesn't
Too
even
many
show that
application
Benji's
questions. I
in
think
the
that's
game.
the
What?
issue, right? You can go buy on that multiple choice, right? You can go with the 50-50s.
Yeah.
It's fine. But even Rikami said he teak right now. They're
Damn,
not doing too well.
he didn't
with
get
these
their
quiz answers.
surge.
14, 3, 28. You're going up and down, plus and minus. This is just a
Bruh.
showing
Is it
for
a
the
problem if I
entire
have
lobby and how good they are with
76K?
surge right now. They're popping off.
I was seeing this happening when I was
For
VOD
Benji
reviewing
stream,
the
I have, like,
Season 8 Chapter
50K
2
now.
finals. Essentially, a lot of the big names will take center positions, but you're seeing the
I've
sacrifice
been watching
you
it
make
for, like,
when you
2
sit in the
years
center.
now,
You
so that's
better
not even
hit
a
your
lie to
shots,
me.
kid. Because if you don't, you're going to meet the big purple lightning at the end of the day. Let's take a look at the replay here, how it went down on Stompy's side. The triple spray, doesn't matter how good your mechanics are, you're not going to survive that, brother.
It's all about just laying down a trap, and they won the 1v1 fight against the teams at least, right? But when there's 3 teams and it's not isolated, when you're an aggro team, and you're trying to go for these fights, that's where things trip up. It's a boxing match against 2 opponents. It's just not fair.
And Skriwai from Norway got 2 knocks in that engagement between Nadil's trio. And it was something that kind of reminds me, that's what happened 2 seasons ago when Vidil, they would always get into these fights where all of a sudden 3 trios would be right next to them, and then they just couldn't handle it. Too much pressure. But what's on the pressure right now is Thomas AC and Nas. I mean, we talked about it. They didn't even qualify for Season 7, Chapter 2. They didn't really even hear. And that was such a big surprise. And they went ahead with that mix-up. And I think getting Queasy, an FNCS champion, was a great pickup. And no doubt, that's why it's your pick. But I'm excited to see how they do it because they're slowly putting it together. And it's not about what you're doing in the past. It's about the momentum you carry into the Grand Royale. Got to put a little roll in that art. The Grand Royale.
What the fuck?
Let's see how that works out for the trio.
Look at this though, Sunny Teak. If perfection wasn't enough, one of the only teams to pull zone being dead center. I mean, this is just amazing. Shows just how good they are with the rotations, map management as well. It's looking so good all the way up to this point. The ammo
Is
looking
it
dope
stacked?
as well. We keep moving on.
I don't think it's
Towards
as
the entire
stacked
game.
as
This
game
is
1.
Genius.
Yeah, let me expand on that. They're going to have the mats for the rotations. They have the mobility. They saved all that. They usually dip into everything that they have. Hey, they got a pad, they're going to use it no matter what. They're not going to hold on to it. So that is why they always get into the top 5 situations. And with their
Remember,
clutch
chat,
mechanics, with
points
the
are gonna
solo
be
potential,
doubled.
that's why they get those bonus points. And
They
they already
do,
did it
so
once, and they could definitely do
Benji
it
can
again and
still
again and
win
again.
this, chat. No cap.
Might look tricky too because you see a lot of their shields gone, a lot of the utility out of the basket, but all they really need from this point onwards is damage and those launch pads. They can just move on low ground, play box to box. One of the best parts about low ground is it's kind of like the sewer tunnels of Fortnite overall. Everyone's waste that's dropping once they get picked apart from the high ground trickles down. They get to pick up all the shields, the easy access mats, the solo players that are walking around their box. They just go for pads, stay ahead of the zone, and wait for that waste to roll in. They can just get their inventories racked up in an instant.
I'm curious. Okay, I was about to say, we'll see where are the boys at here. They've been sitting on this blue antenna well above Storm Surge, so that's good to know. And because of that, Tayson loves to rotate early. He loves to put his trios in position towards a great place, usually dead side, close to the center. But as you can see on the mini-map, they're about really close to the dead side area. They have to move a little bit more south here, but they're choosing to be here for Storm Surge to get as much potential. And Hen, no matter what the ping is, he will hit his shots. This man, no matter where, he's going to collect the bag, and he's seen it time and time again on his social media timeline, him getting so much cash cup placements.
All's going to be the trios with the, or the trio with the coldest keyboards in the lobby. They haven't moved since we tuned in like in the second circle, so their position so good overall. They're not going to fall to that antenna curse. Illocrat CTQ Hottie going to be moving around. Coolest strategy to watch from these guys. Every time I look at them, they're kind of countering different trios, kind of playing in the shadows of different builds above them. Sometimes though it gets tricky. It hurts to watch them make a wrong move, and this might be it. The zone is moving overall. Everyone's gonna be pressured to keep rolling. They're 187 damage below that surge. You really need to make sure to catch up on things. Maybe this is why they're staying so close to other teams, but it's gonna be a struggle to get that damage at this point.
Thomas HC gets a knock on Tico, and I agree with you on that. And again, Stompy's trio and co are literally have to play defense against another team desperate for Storm Surge. And ETQ, Hottie, and Trevor and Elocras are in trouble here, and they're definitely gonna get tripped up. They weren't even in. Now it's up to Hottie, ETQ, going up against another FNCS. Tevik, Hirachi, Toos, and Floki Clement are all here to collect the scraps.
Surge, boys.
Stompy and co are rolling in, but wow.
It's a struggle, especially when you have to launch early. Sometimes that launch pad can act as an alley-oop, get you into another trio's box to really get that dunk in with the damage. But when you're moving first, there are no boxes made, nowhere to go. Unfortunate for them. You're calling Thomas taking out Teak. That's going to be a huge elimination. And look at them. They're going to adapt the playstyle as well, stay completely low, look to control everything and make sure they get to all stay alive for this endgame.
That was a great short pad, but they're on the low side of this circle here. The upper side here, the south side, has a high vertical. If it goes up there, they're in trouble.
Yeah, if it pulls back though, their mats are going to be so efficient overall.
Yeah, okay.
They're going to be fine, and they still have, from this point, right? When you're at the lowest point of elevation, you can max pad, and that max pad turns into a short pad for the front side of the zone. It's huge.
And they have the harpoon. Thomas HC has 10 charges into
Low-key,
that, so he
Thomas
could go
can
ahead
win
and
this
grab
tournament.
any valuable
I'm not
loot that
happy.
he sees. You're going to be looking at that. Maybe they look back into the storm. So much great things happen. And Thomas HC as well. He did some great work with that burst rifle. Was able to lead some shots into some builds.
And they do pull a little bit of that zone, so no launch pad alchemy needed whatsoever. A different flavor all the way on high ground. We're going to be a little bit towards the right side of the map, so you can see some of those homeowners, Astro, Michael, and Verox from Dirty Docs looking to control things overall. But how long will their reign last all the way on height? Because you know there's going to be multiple trios looking to take it.
And this trio played the most in this FNCS Grand Royale. They played so many. They are the most consistent trios. They played all the loading, reloading, rebooting, whatever you want to call it. They played the most, and they have the high ground.
The trio of the 6 paths, so to speak, then. So we'll see exactly what they do. Trouble for Thomas HD, though. Down to 10 HP. We talked about what it takes to get to this point. Sometimes it's all of your shields. It looks like they don't have that max pad to really use. Something must have gone terribly wrong. Queasy started this with 8 peppers. They barely even used them. Now, finally, rocking in with 4 to split on the other side. They have to play by themselves. Only to get Thomas's loot whatsoever. But find someone else's box on a launch pad. That's going to be huge. Floppers there, too, for Queasy to use. That's on the bottom side. But look at who's up top. Chapix, Tayson, and Hen, they're looking to get that high ground control.
And they have the mats because we've been seeing the whole time with those cold keyboards, but it's about to get hot, and they have the potential to get those elims.
We'll see exactly what they end up doing. Completely above in surge. Michael taking out Trulex. So second height is also looking strong. Everyone all the way up in the clouds and the skies has a power position to rattle on every single body below.
Here we go, folks. It's getting into the end game here for game 2. As you're seeing, Malibuka, who took out Dreda's trio so early, making some great position on the front side of the storm, looking strong. Hen gets eliminated. Aqua gets eliminated. Fresroki gets eliminated. But Malibu Burst and Shaito are standing hip to hip, looking strong. And they're going to try to clear out the bottom as much as possible and to take out a page from Cammy, Seti, and T. But Queasy is in a world of hurt, and he cannot go back to back with the clutch like Thomas HD.
It'll be Link's trio picking him up. Trouble in Paradise, though, as we did see Hen go down. Melody still popping in through. That's going to be him, actually, who was the one picking up Queasy. We're also going down to Shiza, so Steamy Stacks is also active inside this end game. We go all the way towards the river. A halfway point for every single team. Stash Malibuka is still alive.
Malibuka, just get shit on, please.
Any walls.
Shit on Malibuka, please.
Other things from inside the box, not much going to be happening all the way up in this moment. Top 10 teams actually only get a person almost diving inside the box. They don't want to fall down and go towards the water. Malibuka, Mustache Eyes, want to stay high and dry. At the same time, Scurry really popping off. Continuing the eliminations. He rocks in. Malibuka with another Goomba stop step inside the bottom box. Goes for a different shot. Lands some big damage. There's not much else to do. These guys are picking apart every team below him.
They're playing so well and picking on that low ground. You're right, Sio. Look at this. They're dipping and diving and getting in and out as fast as possible, putting some big max damage and racking up eliminations here.
Nice,
Look how many they have. They lose Shizo. Malibuka now has got
nice
solo
Malibuka
himself,
solo.
but still a great performance here. They can get into the top 5. Nice hit. Yes. Knocked. Eliminated. Malibuka is on fire.
Thrusters down, now the rocket. Malibuka is just left to take the team all the way to the moon. Zone also bouncing back, so he has a little bit of time to breathe. At the same time, 4ZR saw him active somewhere. He gets traded out. Yes, it's Malibuka. He was the one that actually just picks him up. 47 points for them. They're really going all the way for that first place slot. A lot of eliminations too to wrap things up, but a quiet time now for every single team. Top 6 situation. No one really going down just yet. The match is going to be straying. Malibuka as the solo has to cover every single angle inside this box. He's staying hidden for now. River down below. Logran also catching up to him, so every layer is going to get squeezed. Tap spots. Ari's there too, and Michael takes down Artist. So a little bit of an industry of mid-ground antics going on inside this end game. Malibuka, though, staying nice and quiet as
Mitchell
Michael right
clutching up.
And also
Verox,
you
can win this.
All the way on height, looking to wrap up this game. Verox is getting close and personal.
You can win this.
Might be the driving factor, the changing course. He looks for the first shot. 101 to the backside of a different player. He's going for the full finish. That's Verox down. Can this clutch be possible for Malibuka? He'll go back into the zone. Just
if he wins this, I'm gifting everybody all myself. All my
We're going for this next fight. 84 with a big edit. He rolls in.
All my money.
Still going through. 1v2. Malibuka.
Let's go. Okay.
High ground and the pump, but it's not
Thank you, Tayson, for saving my money.
Chapix is there to make sure his team stays high and dry. What a solo performance, though, and what a game 2 from EU.
It took
Fuck Malibu,
FNCS
damn.
champions to take down
Damn.
the Steam King. Chapix and Tayson get
not
the
the
job
Steam
done, and
Kings.
Chapix with 6
Fuck that
eliminations,
Benji
and we get a
ratio.
taste of the pop-off, baby. It's Grand Royale Game 2. Goes to Hen,
I love that
Chapix,
one
and
of them is
Tayson.
Latvian and
Look
they're
at
my
that,
brothers,
just the
but
happiness, the
Benji.
emotion from that win, the momentum build up so early in the day and the weekend.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
Grand Royale
Ghost
is all about.
Testicles
And what
is,
a
knife.
clutch
Let's go.
as well. Another solo one
Versus,
we're watching from the
I
side
mean,
of
Goat
Malabuka. That was
Testicles,
just insane, especially off a contested POI.
You need those clutches. We
So
saw
basically,
the boys
Benji's
broke
not
down
even
in
on the
desk. The 20
leaderboard.
points looking good. Let's take it to the boys.
Because they're doing that shit.
Hello,
Nice.
we're the boys. What's up? Oh my gosh. First of all, production,
start
let's
the
talk
next
about
game,
that
please?
dope clip of that.
Is that Amplify on the wall?
Yeah,
No, they went down
too.
too.
This. Who gives a fuck? Nice. Goat. Goats. Go. Let's see. No. Who could have tweeted? Varus. Okay, already one complaint chat. Malabuka. I wanna see if Benji follows him. No, they don't. Oh my goodness. Nah. Oh my chat. Benji's mom follows Malabuka. I'm done. Damn. Oh my goodness, chat. Huh? Что?
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
What? Oh, okay. Wait, no. No, this man is farming. Never mind. What? What happened to the deal? Chat, what? No, really. Benji. Nope. Savage. Nope. And Brett. Oh. How tall is Andrada? Fuck. Ah. Nice, you can't see it. He's probably like 5 foot. What height is he? Who gives a shit about food habit? Nah, the internet's weird sometimes. Yes. Cap. Country. Yeah, this Cap. This has to be Cap. He's not English. He definitely ain't 6'5". He's like 5'5". My man, they miss 1 foot. Yeah, if he's 6'5", I'm like 7 feet.
Wasn't to be the same though, Sancho.
That's
Who do you
cap.
have this time though? Is it MrSavage or MrSavage rolling in at Steamy Stacks?
I don't know, man.
Oh, bro, I love
Malibuka
the
is
engines
handing out
sometimes.
pumps, like Levin is saying, left and right, like it's flowers. I mean, I want MrSavage and Benji. I mean, it's just showing you that whoever walks out of that power position, that power POI, will do well. It just historically has developed many FNCS champions out of it. So if MrSavage and Benji could just get off the mat, they could get rolling, they could definitely have something here. But it has to start now in game 3. I mean, yes, you could rely on that day 2 where all the points are doubled. But at the same time, Malibuka could double the points on you, and you become easy from a 2-point to a 4-point. It's game 3, folks. We're gonna have a ball.
We'll see that fight actually drop off later as the bus starts all the way from the bottom side of the map, but at the same time, lots of different teams will be looking to land and hold on to their lead. We have Hen, Tayson, Chapix all the way at that top spot, 80 points. Kefi, PKR, and Melody rolling in just 9 points behind them, and then Michael, Astro, Verox, they started on top at height, and they stay inside that top 3.
The only engagement right now that will be happening early, we'll keep an eye on the feed, is the Misty Meadows one between Anilix and Floki's trio. They tend to split. Floki tends to retreat. Well, we'll keep an eye on that as Michael takes knock on Patrick. That's a Dirty Docs engagement as well. That's kind of happening. So we're seeing all
This
these
is all we
engagements so far.
Okay.
Michael's trio is winning Dirty Docs
Benji,
handily.
just win one time.
Cool to see that fight
Just
as
win
rolling as
one
well.
major tournament except for
This
Dream
is actually active. The drop is so important for this one. Shiz is also already getting rattled from long range. I think that's either a pistol or someone of SMG. Michael taking out Putrick, so they're really going the whole way, the long distance. Savage with the drop. This time finds a weapon first, but once again, they don't have the God drop, Sancho.
And not only that, an SMG to start for both of them. Benji and Savage here are
Watch,
gonna have to do a lot
Malibuka's
of
gonna
work.
get
It doesn't matter
fucking
how
a full
skilled
fucking
you
shotgun.
are. No shotgun in hand. It puts a lot of doubt in your play.
Nice. One down.
Jetta actually ends up controlling the
They need
high
that.
ground for
Nice.
the power building. They
Let's
absolutely
go.
do. He actually picks apart Mustache, who runs up and just gets into a stack.
You guys need to
This
keep
time, that solo clutch team might be put on pause as Jetta, Benji, and Savage get to play a game.
So what's going to happen to Malibuka's trio is they're going to use the stacks to kind of fly around and look for an angle to maybe double up on somebody. They still have to be on high alert here. And Jetta, Benji, or Savage here
going
could
down.
essentially still go down, but this is going to be in their favor. This is what they need to be able to walk away in this engagement.
I think I also just saw Stompy take out Chapix inside the feed, so something happened all the way over at Craggy, maybe even somewhere else, who knows. At the same time, Benji is gonna give these guys a little bit of a stamp on their exit tickets from the stacks.
Benji, Savage, and Dreda are not going to let this go. We've seen it before. Last FNCS, they would disengage, and these guys will chase them down. It looks like they're going to possibly disengage. I'm just taking a look. They went to Pristine Point. Okay, normally they go
Let's go,
south.
boys.
And last time they
That's
went
the
south,
one
they
point.
got kind
Let's
of
go,
sandwiched by
chat. 2
Michael's
points.
trio. But
2
this time
points
they're
for
gonna go ahead and
Benji.
disengage
Let's
from
go. It
Pristine
only
Point,
took
but you
3
have to watch out,
games.
because the Elo Crash trio has 10 to third party
Nah,
into the Steam
they're
stacks and pick up
cringe.
the scraps. And Malibuka looking like a delicious scrap right now.
Yeah, this is literally, I think I have a
I wish it was
Season 8 VOD
emo
pulled
only.
up from the FNCS. We saw Savage under a ramp. We saw Malibuka or Mustache just chilling inside one of these rundown houses. And Hottie just moving around in between, looking to see what he can do next. Maybe even pick up the scraps himself.
Let me plant the seed. I mean, we saw Hottie. They finished second place, the first one, but this is the seed I'm planting, folks. As the tournament
Come on,
goes on,
shit on.
Hottie, Elo Crash, and the
Shit on
Passive
Malibu.
Tripper, they would tend to start pushing in. This is what got them a lot of heat on the social media, right? The people didn't understand that this is the perfect play to make when you're seeing a kind of a drawn out, a 50-50, a slugfest happening in Steamy Stacks. If you're the team that lands at that orchard split, you push in, you take advantage, you get those tags, maybe get an elimination here. So Hottie, ETQ, Elo Crash, we're waiting for them to pull that card out of their playbook.
Man's probably eating some Popeyes right now.
I think they
or, like,
definitely
Pizza
understand
Hut.
that something is slightly off right now. They can't really put their finger on it. The big thing about this house, too, if you're looking at that blue pistol, still has that ammunition drop on its side. The same thing with the AR up top. It's not looted, so at some point, ETQ Hottie Elo Crash will end up rolling through that front door. Almost kind of walked in. This is tough. You can just see the last clutch man waiting, watching, and hoping they don't find him.
Hey, listen, I was watching that hype hour
Just go
announcement.
in,
I know
please,
Z
I
came out
beg
talking
you.
about all these different tournaments. I think it's the hide and go seek cup. Is that supposed to happen? Hide and seek
Oh
cup?
my-
Is that what we're seeing a taste of? The new LTM No, that's not true. Listen,
I'm gonna lose my
you don't know
mind.
anything. Casters, we don't know anything. I was just as surprised for all the announcements, but I am so excited for the duo that's going to happen as the Asian FNCS champion goes down. But Malabuka, he's here to fight Shayo.
Nah, he's saying
I'm
about
looking for this Elam going to be huge to just get a few points in that this team would be strangers to losing off spawn.
If
Another
you
good
guys
shot on
lose
Elo.
this 1v3,
Oh,
you guys don't deserve to be in this tournament.
It's not the 9th zone anymore. You can relax. Just go down silently, slowly. Be a normal solo player for once, please. Or do the impossible. You got 4 shots, you got 3 heads, and a green pump. I mean, the odds were stacked.
Let's go.
Even anymore against your favorite.
Get the
I'd be surprised.
fuck out,
But there it is,
Malabuka.
ETQ with some fancy little edit play. Keeps it
I just
simple,
love
keeps it
Benji,
secure.
man. Not in a
Malabuka's
gay
still
way.
hot,
No homo,
overheated
chat.
after that last
Nothing
game.
wrong with that.
I don't know. I mean, he would have to go to that primal season, use some
Wait,
animal
rest
bones
back,
or
okay.
something to upgrade into some kind of primal weapon we haven't seen, or get a sideways tech that I don't. Someone had to save him. You know what I mean? That was not going to happen. But what's interesting to see, Tayson, Chapix, and Hen are here. They already talked about it on the desk a little bit. Hen missed out on the last FNCS. Hen's one of those big names that everyone loves. Is a big fan favorite, and to see him combine with Tayson and Chapix, that's going to be an exciting thing, you know. Tayson going for the 4th FNCS champion. Chapix going for another FNCS trio champion. So that's what we're talking about, the skill of this lobby. There's a lot of FNCS champions roaming around.
Deox also rolling in. Crow and company. I mean, this trio looks so good. Last FNCS, the Spaniards overall just kind of not really contesting, you know, Seti Kami Teak, but landing beside them in the first game, swapping over to the left side of the map, maintaining the pressure all the way from Believer Beach and making sure nothing's going to stop them whatsoever. They're really a force to be reckoned with.
Just a quick thing, yeah, I agree. They had a great day 1. They finished 10th place last season. They're the kind of team that will pad for height out of nowhere, so they're very dangerous to watch out for.
Look at the danger to watch out for here, though. This is the isolated fight I'm talking about. Look at the mini-map. No one else looking in for it. Lots of room to move around and edit. Noah Riley and Badil can basically just do whatever creative box fight scenario they want out of their minds to pick apart every single player. And they'll be on the hunt. DKS now showed a little bit of his shoes exposed inside all these boxes as he moves around. Look at the mats they force enemy teams to use. They've used absolutely nothing to catch up the entire time. No one is around to stop their driving force into this fight.
Normally, you would see Hen's trio here. I mean, Chapix and Tayson, they will kind of rotate over. We see it so many times with Janice, and when they had the championship, they will rotate over to Celti. But you're right, so far, clean fight. It's just a matter of time before Noah Riley, Janice, Badil convert these into points and more valuable Storm Surge.
Not gonna go completely all in from it, and this is kind of like the evolved Noah Riley Badil combination rolling in. Usually, you see them just completely throw everything for that fight across a couple zones, especially if they know it's a team they can win against. This time, restrained. I think they learned that in season 7 overall, knowing exactly how to take fights and then back off, disengage, and actually play a game out instead of just playing a fight out.
It was day 2. It was like, wait a minute, is it an alien that took over these guys? I mean, they kind of slowed down with Aqua, but as we see some more names that are new to the, not necessarily new to the FNCS. I mean, Kefi has been around forever, it seems, but PKR Melody here, kind of a new trio, seeing what they can do with the new POI that we already talked about. But you can already get a taste of it. If in-game happens here, you cannot break these purple boxes. It goes into, feels like a box fighting type of creative map that we see here. So we saw that happen in last season. We saw the players able to navigate that, but it's a little bit of changes. It's a little bit higher, but of course the Cube Queen watches over all, and very excited to see how it all goes down at the end of the season.
Wait, chat.
So those formats were booked
okay,
for 20
so
years, eh?
I thought, why is he
I don't
not
wanna-
showing his videos on Spotify?
I don't want to go down that path with you. That was
Anyways.
No worries.
instantly with Kevin. Kevin can make things go instantly.
That's
Kevin
true.
and the cubes, they're working
Timey-wimey
together.
stuff. Yeah. No Riley, Janice, Badil still looking good up inside this fight. This is one of the cool things about engaging on a team and forcing them to make this really big escape base. You get a lot to just work off from in terms of real estate. All the pressure you put on them, their base basically becomes yours. You're kind of like the landlord of every single box they have put down. You get to just stay above them the entire time, and no one's gonna push you from a certain side, because you have like a little pet down there that's kind of paying rent to you at the same time in terms of sorcerer's tags. It's really good to put that early pressure down and then base up above.
If I had to put a finger on the pulse of this game 3. It's a lot different. Usually people are more aggressive. Now you're taking a little bit of more metered approach. Storm Surge being a factor. Everyone's trying to focus in.
Yeah, it feels like I'm watching a game 1 entirely,
We went
right?
from
Yeah,
Cammy
right before the game
to
started, there
like
should be a few changes from certain teams, but with a 2-day format, with every game really mattering here, right? One game today is kind of worth half a game tomorrow. So
exactly,
if you keep it consistent and just do well over time, you should be on par with tomorrow as well in terms of having an impact. So every team is just trying to stay alive every single game.
Just to add to that as well, tiebreakers always come down to it.
That's
a lot
true.
of money could move on a victory royale, and it's exciting to see. Of course, the new format change has been introduced for the FNCS duos that's coming up next season. We'll see what happens here. You know, maybe the teams are getting used to trying to work for that. But regardless, right now, I think what's happening is they're still sticking to the plan. The game one plan is still intact. Like I mentioned earlier in the cast, you're going to see the names kind of centralize their positions, trying to use this way. It almost feels like I'm watching NA East a little bit, right? A little bit of the NA East vibe, because normally EU, they box fight their way in. They get a little bit nasty with these rotational fights, but now they're, you know, taking a little bit of page from the NA East boys.
That's cap.
Whatever page Wheezy, Thomas, HC, and us are reading
That
from, I
man's
need them to
definitely
pick a
from
different
NA.
book. I need them to change up the literacy curriculum for their trio, because these guys are failing at surviving that first moving zone, the half and half, and they have so much potential to do well. Cammy said Teak, I guess they need that kind of rocket thruster effect as well, right? Maybe losing a teammate and leveling up as they clutch in the end game, but Sancho, we know this team does really well when they're all alive.
Chow, would I be
What was their
copyrighted
issue in
for
game 2? Storm Surge. We got a taste of them, and they were really below, 7 below, and their positioning on that one circle was they were on the off sides of the mountain. Surprising, considering that they land at that crash site. We kind of talked about the Cammy split. I think a big factor of the Cammy split is that it got upgraded with that crash site. It kind of centralized that Cammy split. Before, it was just too vast. It would go all the way to the farm, all the way down south to the gas station sometimes, all the way to the yellow house. But now that crash site kind of centralizes them and gives them some great sight lines. As we see, actually, Reason gets knocked. It's been kind of quiet for Aqua's trio. They're on the wrong side of the feed, on the right side.
They're literally just waiting till day 2. 6 out of 6
That's what I'm
wins.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
6-15 Elam wins. I'm not even worried about him too much. Well, let's tune in and see if the big man can clutch himself and make sure his team has a chance to at least play a 1 game today. We're already almost halfway through them. Once again, no other team has really gone down. Aqua's might be the next, and he's really pressured to go the whole way forward. This fight obviously starting because they might have had some surge issues overall. Look who's come by though. Benji, Savage, and Dreda. A new flavor for a lot of the teams on this side of the map. They've been used to Malibuca's way of moving and doing things. This time they're like, wait a minute, this Steamy Stacks trio is not supposed to push this fight. They're supposed to make a base. Savage is like, no, I want to get on those walls. I want to land those pumps.
I was just saying, it's like, it's been a while. I feel like Benji wasn't even in this tournament, and now he's here. He's arrived. He's in the feed. He's gonna probably close out Aqua here. He was able to res fast Roki, but yep, it's a matter of moments before this trio
I
gets
can't
that
hear
elevation
anything about
on
them.
Aqua.
See if the body swap was worth it. Is Fast Roki going to be the one to clutch? Does Aqua's revive the wave?
Gonna put a stop on that. That's not gonna happen. I know this is my prediction, but look at the zones pooling. You could only sneak so much, man. You could only be a sneaky snake so much.
We need like mobile reboot vans that you can put in your inventory.
Dude,
spawn down.
Yes, let's take a look at the replay here.
Damn.
Aqua gets a nice 147 here, just showing the mechanics.
Ran for max.
Fortnite gets destroyed. That was hot. That was hot.
Every player here we're watching, as soon as they're kind of put against the back of the wall, have really good bursts of damage over and over.
Like a stat boost is like, all of a sudden when you're endangered, it's like they get aggressive stat boosts out of nowhere.
Thing is, though, it feels like for all these players too, it ends up expending a lot of energy in the moment, and then after that, you know, the trio that they're facing gets used to the all-in. They respond. Scram taking down Ari. That's going to be huge for how the game plays out, because Ari was getting a lot of mid-game knocks, at least a little bit of impact as he's moving around. Tayson also going down, so a little bit of a difference for how this end game might be played. Bandwise finding a few. Bandwise actually lighting up the feed a lot in these first few games. I'm wondering exactly how his team's doing. I want to check real quick, but it's been on the radar a little bit. 28th actually. Okay, I want to check a little bit later. Chicky is
Bro, where is he?
See exactly how he rolls.
The cake's not done yet. It needs a little
Cake's
bit more
not
time.
done yet. Yeah. Don't open the door.
Don't open the door. Just turn the light on and turn it off.
Oh, this is cool, man. Stompy actually getting clapped by Noah Riley this time. Stompy's just trying to have beef with every single team he can find. I guess their surge is also going to be a little bit rocky because they're switching maybe POIs left and right or kind of changing the flavor of the game. They're doing game 3 how game 3 is supposed to be done, and every trio is now falling underway in suit because from 30 teams you go down to 25. That Storm Surge really rattling people's brains, putting them in check.
If somehow you
MrSavage and Benji, though, they got the proper chess moves. They know how to get out of the way, get out of dodge when they're tested.
And Savage's trio, they love to park and then pick at fights on the edge of the storm. They kind of love to be the instigator, like to take advantage of Storm Surge fights, and they kind of pick off people here. I see Tayson, Hen, and Chapix moving their way through, trying to get that Cosmic Cube there. The chest maybe gets some nice upgrades, but I think they're looking a lot stronger. I mean, considering that last time we saw them, they were kind of parked for a while. I think this team moves, they work better on the move. Even though they got a victory royale, I'm just saying, I think they kind of get better with the keeping that keyboard hot, you know?
Yeah, no, they're going to be good. Last time we kind of saw overall, they weren't, you know, really moving too much. At the same time on the other side, Janice and O'Reilly for deal. They're going to be very, very active, always picking apart. But this is just beautiful. Once again, another trio they can find completely isolated. If they don't win the fight, what they can do is force them to make this, once again, huge escape
Jan's getting
base,
tagged up.
disengage,
Look at
and then
Terluto,
just
but
bully
he
them,
has
stay
no
on top,
minis.
and have at least, I don't know, a point, a compass direction to work off with. That's not completely random. This trio fails sometimes in picking certain points over the base in the zone. They never fail when they're up against another team and control them and kind of make them kind of their home base.
I think this trio wants this fight. They understand they are the better caliber trio, and they're considering that they can walk away with multiple eliminations. As Fesroki, that clutch is done, it's over as predicted, but still, Noah Riley, Janice, and Benjyfishy.
So
yes, you're right. The box fighting, they see it, they see someone in trouble, they go attack and they retreat.
It's some motivational song, damn.
Moving towards this side, it's kind of, I think they're basically
Is that
pushing
song
teams
on
out
YouTube?
of their way completely.
Yes.
People on that mountain are probably like, who are these psychos just bullying us edge of storm line? Guys, storm's moving in 20 seconds, so they'll probably go the other way. As a result, we just have so much room to work with.
It's like creating your own dead side. It's like, let me just go ahead and push people here out this way, push them out this way, and before you know it, you got a wedge all to yourself.
I need Thomas HD and Austin Queasy to make an alive
Wait,
side right
Eminem's?
now in this game.
I know Eminem is in it, but I thought it was what?
Because once again,
why is it on
this is
Eminem?
danger zone,
I'm so
fifth zone is where maybe Thomas HD is ending up as a
17
solo
mil
player.
views
Anas
in
is
1
trying
month,
to make sure
damn.
the entire team is on his back. Keep them alive. I get it. We're not in the retail zones. We don't have the South Mountains. It's difficult to find a control when you really have to move all the way across the map and away from Caddy Corner. But this position looks good. The center of everyone, it might not be completely in center circle, but a southern type zone all the way towards the bottom left. They haven't had to move too much. They have a lot to work with in terms of ammunition. And Madsen, a big shot from Thomas HD as well. Now they're looking confident. They look in their element, and they're going to wrap up this fight. What a shot from Thomas HD. Making that burst look like a sniper. That's just crazy.
Much needed engagement here. They were just below the storm surge. Not particularly for this surge, but for the next moving circle storm surge. Great work there from Thomas HD and co.
The difficulty is always just finding a pedestal. If they can't find a rock, a mountain to hop on, they'll choose another trio in their box. Absolutely amazing swing.
Now we're getting down to the moments here, the half in and half out. It's gonna be half in the safe zone, half in the storm here. We've been seeing some strange ones already here in the Grand Royale. Let's take a look at the leaderboard right now. Hen, Tayson, and Chapix are in first place with 80 points, but Kepi, Monaco, PKR, Melody in second place with 71.
Yeah, it's not going to be live as well. This is how the game started overall. So Hen was there. A lot of different teams have gotten a few eliminations left and right. He's still in the business. Stompy out in 7th place, so it looks like as well. As we don't know, O'Reilly have a bit more that should be inside that top 5.
I'm just surprised Kepi's there though. That's the name I would not expect to be there. That's very impressive. And of course, Michael, Astro, and Verexen in third place. Dirty Doc's working out for them. That engagement winning off is doing really well, but that third place team's in trouble. Verox here with only 70 HP and below and out. Converted, lobbied quickly.
Shit on chat.
One spot on the podium up for grabs now inside this game. You can see Janice on that right side looking for it. Kefi, PKR, Melody going to be the ones to be the difference.
Okay, how do I get my
phone? On the south side of the zone. Flow is Scram Hellfire.
I need to get my phone.
over the
It's on the other
skies
side
right
of my
now.
bed. Okay,
And
got
it's
it.
still looking active. Usually a team needs a breather once they get a little bit of that high ground control, but no. Flowis is there, gets the siphon as well. That's Andalex going
Wait, I
down.
gotta
They're moving
lie.
big teams out of the business.
Somebody liked
GR
my
also
shit
been taken
on
apart. That's
Twitter.
3 different teams
Let's
stopping
go.
that trio.
W's in
This team can
chat.
get hot. We've seen them get hot. We've seen them qualify and clutch out with double eliminations in the Victory Royale. This is a great match here in Game 3, considering they are all the way at the bottom of the board in 27th place. But look at how much attention the high ground is getting. It's being shot out. And oh, Toos, were they going for a high ground retake, a late one? Nice defense there from Hellfire.
Might be, I'm not sure, but this is such a different game. Yeah, there's Deuce.
Yeah,
He was
see?
trying to do
Way out there.
something.
Trying to do something.
Some form of desperation. Usually a lot of actions happening in low ground. That's where people are struggling. In this game, it's all high in the mids that are making these fights happen. Thomas HD picking up Joe Nada, making sure his lair is still also completely clear. And Tayson Chatpix also not ready to just take height yet, but inside a completely metal Rubik's Cube of sorts. They're going to be completely mysterious and unsolvable to everyone else around them and have the first strike, a preemptive shot to anything, either zone or players, whatever they choose.
This is a tough rotation. They have to work through a lot of builds and bodies here, and I don't see any kind of mobility in Chapix. I don't see them setting up a short pad for the moment here. They might have to go on feet. They're just waiting for maybe a community pad for the moment here. It's very sketchy here. This is a very tough rotate.
They've got room, though. We know that low ground is slightly a little bit empty right below them. One team finally takes it over, though. What will their decision be?
Yeah, Tayson saw that now. He's making his way towards that low ground here. They're going to decide to go on foot here through enemy builds, so they have to be careful here. They're going to work hip to hip. Working on through. Oh, all of a sudden, someone right behind them. Enemy builds are all applying the pressure here. Hen is going to have to go for the layer switch, but Hen is paying the price because the rest of the lobby is now focusing up on them. He has the heals, and now the pop-up here. Yes, finds that community pad and saves it grace and flies through the air. Hopefully here, they're going to have to find a way, Shio, to get all back together again because they're separated, and now Chapix goes down.
Top of the splinter damage, bruise, no bandages. This is going to be tough for the entire team to roll in with and really have control. Floki's the one to take out Chapix overall. Flow is scram Hellfire, maintain their high ground. Flow is actually going down.
They're probably gonna be way better than me this game now. I just don't play.
Bro, I haven't played this game for like a week. I only started like yesterday.
I've played a few games this season.
I see your balls have dropped even more. I see Dr. Rain.
No, I'm just
What the fuck is your profile picture though? That you after McDonald's?
Yeah, this is that's after the chicken nuggets, yeah.
Right, chicken nuggets today, they're the best thing created by chicken.
Best thing.
That's the
Chicken
best.
nuggets with curly fries and McDonald's, they're the best.
I haven't tried. I don't think my country has curly fries of McDonald's curly fries.
Yeah, they just cancelled them where I am. There's like 10 years they had them, and they're just gone.
Dude, I want to try. I know Burger King has it, but I haven't tried it.
Oh, they're so good.
I haven't tried.
So, like,
The only thing I have ever tried of Burger King was a Whopper, like a Whopper meal.
I get the bacon burger.
The Baconator, or something like that.
Double bacon cheeseburger.
I heard there's a steak, like a steak burger. Ah, that's making me hungry.
Oh shit, there's some Naruto stuff in here.
Yeah.
I'll get this. Game.
By the way, you're on stream. I need a co-host for the stream.
Co-host, what's up, guys?
Yes.
Right,
Right, I wish Fortnite would just get us as commentators, just commentate the games. 50k a month.
Well, I'll take it. 100 grand or 600 grand a year.
How much do you think they actually pay the casters and shit, commentaries?
Oh, so much. Probably like
5 mil.
I think they get maybe $1 mil for a year of commentating.
I wouldn't see that much. What if it's just like a minimum wage job on the side?
Even still, that's not even bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'd do it for free, but no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would get exposure. Like all the YouTubers say, I'm gonna pay you an exposure.
I don't do YouTube, so it's not relatable for me.
When are you gonna do YouTube videos again?
Again? I never did YouTube videos.
You did, you posted like an aimbot clip, I believe. That shit, best video on YouTube. No cap. Yeah, the editing on it, bruh, beats Million monthly.
They're looking here for a moment here. They have no hero potential. They're going to have to do this with the power of their weapons here. Teak realizes that he cannot be a siphon for anybody from the moment here.
Wait, what plays the Benji guy? I didn't even check.
Cammy does have the
I don't watch for that, I wouldn't know.
Why? What do you play now? Wait, who won?
I don't. I'm only playing recently because of me being sick. I'm just focusing on school this year.
Oh yeah. Same. Benji got 4th. Let's go.
Good man. Did he lose weight? Oh, he lost a bit of weight.
Yeah. So what's the score now, chat?
10-0 to me.
I was sitting there like,
Hello,
I
Timmy.
thought said he was by himself. I mean, all of a sudden, and then, boom, they're all 3 there.
These skins are actually kind of nice.
Benji got 4th place and they're only 24th.
That was just crazy from
Bruh.
every single team. 11 recency.
Benji. Win. Fuck Malibuka.
You know,
Hate
Shyway
this-
Drum
hate
just as
that.
confused as you
Well,
are.
I
Apparently,
hate
these
him, bro.
guys have just absolutely reprogrammed the game. They say, look, whatever happens, we're always going
How
to
long's left in the FNCS?
to stop us. We are
3 more
inevitable.
games.
And once again, they do it, right? Your
What's
champions
that,
from Chapter 2
an hour and
Season
a
8
half?
are back, and they find
Yeah.
themselves a victory royale. Now, to keep in
Nice.
mind, it's only 9 eliminations. I say
Wait,
only, like,
so
that's not
how are
bad.
you
It's
sick?
really not, but Flawless, Hellfire, Scram got
I
11
don't even know.
eliminations.
A
Second
really
place.
high
11, that's also
temperature,
pretty good
which is
too.
like
How much?
it's 104 Fahrenheit or 40 Celsius.
40?
Yeah.
How are you not in the hospital?
I just took a bunch of painkillers and anti-inflammatory.
Did you go to the hospital? Take
Fine.
antibiotics.
Well, it's not a bacterial infection, so. And I tested negative for COVID.
Then what the fuck is it?
I don't know, common cold.
I mean, that was
Yeah, then it would be a virus. Like, it would be
Yeah, but antibiotics aren't
bacterial.
viruses. Antiviral would be for.
No, but it's against bacteria. If you have a cold, at least me, I take antibiotics and it helps. But okay, only take antibiotics if you're like 40 or over.
No, antibiotics only work against bacteria, so why would I take...
Yeah, cold is bacteria.
Cold is a viral infection, not bacteria.
It still works, trust me. I have had colds before.
Maybe, but this isn't bacterial. This is antibiotics won't do much for me.
Let's just be honest, you jacked off too fast and you got an infection.
What actually happened is I was deadlifting in the gym, and I pulled a muscle in my back, and then I'm all sore. When I wake up, I've got a really high temperature, and I'm feeling like shit.
And that's why nobody goes to the gym.
Yeah, and I think what
I go 6 days a week.
With Kefi, Monaco, and obviously Melody up on the top
Gym's
as
fun.
well. Like,
You
they're
retarded?
way- They've been super because they've come out of
Why?
absolutely nowhere. A 9th
Bro,
and a 7th with
no
five
shit, you're gonna get a
eliminations,
fucking
the
like
previous game, 12,
injury. You
huge
need like
shift, and then
6
that
days a
second
week.
phase.
That's only 1 day
Some
of a
big names
break.
that we might not
Do like
expect, looking at
5
Desitos down
or
in
some
19th,
shit.
Wolfsheim,
Nah,
and
6 is good.
17th, and also
Push
I
pull
think-
legs, push pull legs break.
I think
All the
4.
teams
I
that you
think
could have
4
put
is the
in your top
best.
10, in your top 5
Well, it depends
overall.
what you do.
The funniest thing is, I almost have a 6-pack, and I don't even go to the gym. I just work out at home. Yeah, I don't need the gym. Chat. The gym needs me. What's up,
Are you skinny?
KX? I used to be overweight. Now I'm skin. Basically, I'm the direct height that I need to be. I mean, wait. I used to be like. Okay.
It's not looking great.
Right now I'm like
Mr.
what?
Kaja.
Yeah, right now in centimeters I'm like 174, right? Something like that. I'm short. Don't ask.
rolls off the tongue. So
And I was like,
what?
What
I said I don't judge.
Yeah, I was like 83 kilograms last year. Well, half a year ago. And and in half a year I dropped down to like 72. So I basically in half a year I dropped 11 kilograms. How many pounds is that?
Remember, this is the halfway
It's
point
about
of day number
20,
one. Double points
something like that.
day number 2 spot to see
25
how it unfolds. But for now, we're going back on that battle bus Skywager, Sancho West.
24 pounds. Damn.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, I lost, actually, in 2 weeks I lost 13 pounds, which is 6 kilos.
Yeah, I got,
oh,
6?
I lost 6 kilos
in 3 weeks I lost like, I remember in 3 weeks I lost like 3-4 kilos, something like that. That's not healthy, Chad. Don't recommend it.
Could be water weight.
I mean, phenomenally well.
Yeah.
I mean, 12 eliminations in that previous one, but the thing is, can they hold on
The
to
funniest thing is, even though I was overweight, it didn't show that I was overweight. But my fucking thighs are fucking, like, they're meaty, chat.
You should start doing leg press and deadlift and squats.
Yeah, no. No, they're more muscly now.
Nice.
Okay, and Dread again.
Swings attached to their gameplay.
Who you want to win, in Dread or Malabuka?
If I knew who they were, I'd pick.
You don't know who Andretta is?
Andretta. I've heard of him.
Andretta, Benji, and Savage.
Yeah, I know Benji and Savage. I never really watched Fortnite.
But you were a pro player.
Yeah.
But you
I was getting right to focus on was myself.
Yeah, but it's good for VAR reviews. Malabuka only 40 HP. Come on, please get shit on.
And I'm still good at this game. What the hell?
Hey, once you're a goat, you can't turn back.
Honestly, I think I'm the best I've ever been.
Damn, come back to 4. Ooh, 4 HP on Malabuka. Please shit on him.
I've played a few times this season. I'm level 27.
I'm like a level 8. Let's go, Savage. Let's go. Oh, by the way, Savage talked to me on stream.
Mr. Savage.
Yeah, like I typed on his stream once, and then he responded to me, and then it was a whole fucking debate in the chat. I just said, if squads come back next, will you play with Benji, Revscard, and Dread? And then he said, I don't know, chat. Maybe how's the competitive roadmap happening and shit? And then the whole fucking chat started talking about it.
I still remember. Yeah. I remember I killed Mongrel in a game before.
Damn.
He it was in like
how are you doing? Good. How are you doing? Yeah. Bro, killing Mon. I don't think I even been in a game with a pro. I wish I could.
I've been in a game with like every pro. I've been in with Benjyfishy, MrSavage, Mongrel.
Lucky.
I remember we were beside Benjyfishy, me and my friend, like chapter 2, season 1. We were just hiding in like the big bushes, and we were just freaking out.
How did you get into his lobby then?
I don't know. We were thanking the bus driver, and we saw Benjyfishy. We went to his stream, and then we saw he was in our game.
Damn. And back then he was literally the best player.
Oh yeah, he won the game, and we came like 20th.
Surprise! Did he kill you?
No, his teammate did.
Oh, damn.
Fucking hell.
You okay?
Yeah. Might take some more painkillers.
Yeah, but don't overuse it. It's basically like a drug.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking like 6 tablets a day.
Are you fucking okay?
Nah, that's normal. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening.
Damn.
2 at a time, and you wait 6 hours in between.
They've been cleaning up Lucia's really well, or at least.
But I keep falling asleep. It's like horrible.
Just mid playing, he just falls asleep.
No, it's like I'll be like on my bed watching something. I'll just fall asleep and wake up an hour later.
Oh damn.
And I'll be like sweating and freezing.
Oh damn.
So far, Savage,
Just
Benji,
imagine you're
Trevor,
watching
happy
P-Hub
with their
and
performance,
you fall asleep and
considering
then
that
you
they had a
wake up
couple
and your
cuts
mom is
right
just
the
looking
outside.
at you.
Imagine if
Disappointed.
either team just had the spot completely uncontested.
That'd be a bit weird.
That would just be
Yeah.
Just watching you, not even saying anything. Like, hello.
She would go, the fuck? No, she would wake you up this. What the fuck is this?
It's my collection, man.
You know,
I'm like
Anime
not
thoughts.
bad.
you want them to see it, but at least it gives us something
Anime
really exciting to talk
thighs.
about in the early game, right? There's something there for us.
Oh,
Nice
bro.
appetizer
Oh,
for the
yeah,
main course.
I need to send you a TikTok. It's so funny, but it's like, but it's in my language, but I can translate it to you.
It was kind of risky to land around because people could
Okay.
easily drop in from Bony Burbs if that's
I
operations
need
fast
to-
stroke, or even Corny. Because
Well, I feel
Did
like
he
Will
just
was
say
unblocked.
porny? Did the commentator just say porny?
That sounds sexy.
Oh
yeah.
Corny turns sexual.
On the sides, either way.
Jesus. I also have a sinus infection, so I've got blocked ears and nose.
Oh my, bro, I hope you're okay.
Have a nice off-spawn drop.
I got it, but I did a COVID test today and it was negative, so we're chilling.
Yeah, but there's still other things that can make you really sick.
Oh yeah, I know. It's
Not
just
only COVID.
There's a little bit of a bubble for Keffy Melon.
nowadays COVID is just like
That's why they're in first
enemy
place right
number
now.
one.
They work that bubble, get towards the end games. You're saying you're very familiar with Keffy, right, Sancho? This man is a mid-game.
Wait, I need to find it.
Maintaining pressure and dictating who moves
Yes,
where.
found it.
He's one of the
Wait,
players
I
that
found the
these
guy
teams
now. I
for
need to
winning
find the
FSSs
fucking.
with a few key picks on the earlier days, so it'll be huge to
No,
see
not
how they hold on to
this.
lead.
One thing you gotta point out, I mean, that's why I picked Aqua's trio.
No.
I thought to be in center at Bony.
Yes, found it.
Help them out as Savage finally finds Shizo. That engagement.
I'll
has
say
been
on
wide, so now
Discord.
it is basically tied here
Alright.
for that 2-2.
Look at that Tayson as
Right
well.
now, I need to find you.
Also kind of, in their own bubble all the way up at Craggy, although
Found
one
it.
time
Boom.
kind of rolled in and tried to burst it. I'm not sure what was going on
If
there,
you
but
fucking understand
yeah,
anything, tell me. I'll translate. Bro, my fucking washing machine is about to explode. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, 1 sec, I'll close the door.
I'm just trying to take a look here. I was like, where do they land to be able to take that engagement? Stompy is known to land between the bridge all the way up to Craggy, but I guess they may have landed on that spire and took shots into Craggy.
Yeah, I have no idea what it means.
Okay, screenshot, I'll tell you.
Let's go ahead and kind of
Alright.
Can you screenshot with audio so I can fucking hear it?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
what's up,
PS
Kevin Ray?
All
Hey,
those
ready?
angles, man.
Yeah.
You think all
There
of a
you go.
sudden maybe your toe sticks out and out you go.
I don't
What
understand
does
you.
stick out
Why do my
is the
balls
overall
smell like nuts?
because the defending FNCS champions got themselves a victory.
What's the password to the, like, wait, can you stop it? Can you stop it? Okay, so he said, she said, what is the password of the PC, but she said PC wrong. He said 4 zeros, and then he said, wait, what did I watch on my PC? And then he started running. Okay, you can go again. Okay, okay, stop.
He looked up for.
At first she said, what is the portion size of dumplings? She wanted to Google, and then he said, there's no, the P button doesn't work. Okay, you can keep going. And then she figured out, so what the fuck? Okay, stop. She said, so we got here porn with horses. Keep going.
Jesus Christ.
He says so. Wait.
Close over a scram. I don't know. Getting closer.
Okay, stop. He said we're learning in biology the horse about horse's life or some shit.
Yeah.
And then she says, what the fuck, it's
When I see Flowis rolling in,
what the
sometimes
fuck?
they get
It's
tossed the box entirely.
anime girl grabbing by the throat or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
He says, "Oh, that's since we're just learning about Japanese mythology." And then she says, "We haven't got it. We didn't have it before." And then he says, "The school system never stays put." And then she says, "The teacher punishing the student," and then he's gonna say, "That's what Mr. whatever his name said. The teacher whatever his name is gonna do to me if I don't behave."
They had a high finish in the previous couple of FPSs ago. And we saw their kind of emergence.
Alright, wait.
Really cool.
Look at this.
We
Look
were
at this.
watching them
And then she said, "What the fuck is your
okay,
school
they
like
fought Tayson's
thinking?
trio at that time multiple
What
times.
kind
Like,
of
wait a minute,
people?"
this
Or
trio's
then
serious.
she
This
said,
trio's for real.
"Now
We're
you
seeing it
can't.
being for real
You
and
don't.
live in action right in
You
front of
won't
our
go to
eyes.
school tomorrow." So if you
Were
don't
you-
want to go
were
to
you
school,
watching?
If you're tuning in right now,
Right, okay.
and you haven't been able to catch a few of the earlier games, just the context
Bro, my
here
map hurts
in
from
game number
talking too
4
much.
for EU on the first day. Any team around the 50,
Wait, can you see?
the high 40s,
Yes.
even close to 60 like Flowis right now, in this threshold, really has the
Ooh.
maximum potential
Ooh.
to change their fate on the boards, change their spot,
Fortnite
if
and
they have a good game. These guys are all kind of tied 5 points
You
between
bought the
like, all of
Naruto skin?
15
Are you
teams.
fucking
Every
sucking
single
dick?
elim they get, every move
Heck
they
yeah,
make
bro,
in terms of
all the
surviving
dicks.
longer
Can you
will
gift
really
me?
push
What?
them
Wait,
into the
what?
top 10,
Can you
the
gift
top
me?
5. Everyone here wants to stop being so homogenous overall, the same as everyone else around
Damn,
them,
that looks.
and wants to just
Wait,
break
show me
free,
the
be unique,
pickaxe.
get
That
a
looks
few
so
more
sick.
points, and get into that top 5.
We saw a taste of the mini map. This is going to be a centralized zone. So the Keffi's
Have you
trio
watched
has been
Naruto?
walking around the pyramid. Going to have a
Yeah.
great chance to be able to
I haven't.
another
I've never watched
performance
an
to be able
anime
to
in my
push their
life.
first place lead. At the same time,
I don't
Aqua's
watch
trio
anime, but I
will
have seen
definitely
this
sneak up
one.
as well.
So this one and Dragon Ball Z are the only two I've watched.
That's the only two I will watch.
Even if some of these teams are struggling, they basically have
All the other ones
12
look so
games
dumb.
worth of points tomorrow to play in 6. It'll get super crazy. Fury Link. Default as well going to be rolling in right now inside this fight, and oh my god, Link is taking a little
Oh,
bit.
whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna get some painkillers back in a second.
Maximum damage,
Yeah,
has
okay.
to back off. 1
Oh,
HP.
I feel like
Has
shit.
a chance to because there's not enough content anymore. He's got boxes to work around with, but man, he's got to recuperate.
You may be asking, why is this gas station
Do you
has
drink
so
water?
much activity? It is a hot spot for storm surge tags. If you could get here early and perch on top of it, look how much traffic is going down. But unfortunately, it ended up being a box fight. So that's why we're seeing this engagement here, folks.
The last time we saw 31 teams kind of alive in the previous game, in the matter of about 1 minute, it dropped down to 25. So 6 teams will go down for Surge. It'll have to go all the way down to 70 players. 2 people just get rebooted. We go from 91 to 93 players. It's gonna get so insane for every team on the map, and everyone wants to stay ahead of this damage. 200 above for Fury. Every shot he takes might even put him lower if it's a team that's under him getting that damage done. This is gonna be so tricky. You wanna make sure you do not get any mistakes happening, any free damage done to your team.
And we're seeing the skill of the lobby. That is why so many trios are still on their feet. Normally Storm Surge would be closer here, but yeah, you nailed it there, Shia. There's so many people that have to go down here. So it'd be interesting to see who is behind that A-fall Storm Surge. As you see Jose wrapping up somebody, and Kylie eliminates Benji. So even though they walk out of Malbuka's world, they run into the arms of somebody else here. So unfortunate start there. Maybe they could reboot Benji and bring him back into game 4.
Benji's
So
so
we call it
alive.
like Mimi Max instead of
Mabuka
Steamy
shit.
Stacks and Malabuka Mustache and Shiza.
Someone on social media put out, who owns Steamy Stacks in EU? And someone replied, nobody. And I was like, wait a minute. Malabuka
Deceiving
owns
question.
It's very
Does he though? Does he? Because they call second a lot of the time. Savage, Benji, and rolling in there first. At the same time, does that even matter? Isn't that pretty trivial? At the same time, are any of them even doing well out of it overall?
Okay,
None of them are,
Benji.
super winning.
I mean, I think what it comes down to is a game of matchups, right? So right now, it's just Malabuka matches up really well against Intredas. No matter who they throw at them, they match up really well. So yeah, Benji may be a better player who goes mechanically, but it's just about matchups. And now we're seeing a team that is definitely maximizing their matchups here, but still, 111 below. I don't think they've been in this position before. And this is what happens when sometimes the safe zone is in your backyard.
We haven't even gotten to watch this part just yet of how this team is playing. Who are they? Why? Where? When? What do they end up doing when they're in trouble? what is the first place perspective look like right now? Big Era Cafe, I mean, we'll have it for a little bit, but at the same time, I think it might be gone in a second, Sancho. They have to be diving into their heels so fast to be able to stay alive. 48 below, and they can't find that final tag to stay in the game.
Ooh,
Melanie. They go for the barrel stuff in first place now. Is it a huge world of hurt? Monaco goes down,
gets
and they
eliminated
are
over
frozen
deal.
in time.
It's the
worst
Elam.
finish they've had here in the
Wait, who's
Grand
first
Royale.
right now,
And they run into the buzzsaw of Noah Riley, Vigil, and Janice.
So far.
And they got to be pretty good at taking out the first place team.
Wow, PKR
Maybe
gets first place gets
first place
eliminated.
team tripped up because I'm just trying to think. It was maybe a southern zone. I know it's a very trivial thing to look at. I'm looking at differences between the games. Off spawn might be a complete difference for a lot of teams. The rotations might be slightly different as well.
There it is. You said it. There are rotations. You have a rotation that even goes central to the south.
Rotazione.
Vidil's trio had to roll into there. They didn't have to go south. They usually like to go dead side Vidil's trio. But this time, since it's center, they went ahead, they white lined it, and this ran over Keffi's trios here. So that's what's going to be talking about. It's 12 games, man. 12 games to be able to hold on to. And that's what made Seti Kemi Cheeks pop off last season so special.
Rupert, you here?
Absolutely. We'll tune in to Link's whole special as well in terms of getting all the damage on for this team. Look at the sneaky shots that even to us remain the mystery as we were watching them over and over again. Every edit almost 100 damage, and that's really how this team ended up staying alive. The reaction to, I mean, sometimes saving your team from Surge is equal to even getting a VR in terms of a feeling, right? To make sure everyone is surviving, being the hero in that moment is like equivalent to winning an entire game.
Here we go. Tayson, Hen, and Chapix have already got a victory royale. Almost got clipped. I like their position right now. They're kind of slowly inching their way forward. Normally, like I mentioned, they go to the center, but it looks like they got tripped up along the way here. They have to be careful because Michael Verox, they could get those beams in and sneak them in. And at the same time, dipping into the metal builds. Very valuable considering you're not going to be able to get resources anymore unless you get elimination.
All about the refresh here. And once again, we're down to 25. Same old, same old. Some teams moving in from the zone. And once again, it might not be Weeping Woods. We have a river kind of cutting apart two different forms of land. Astro Michael down. Clement also does not survive Surge. Tayson takes a little bit of damage. He's not get focused for now, but it'll just be a temporary distraction for the rest of the zone.
They're expanding the metal base as much as possible. So way to hide, they're going to try to expand out and then dip back into a building fully formed box. So that's what's happening here. But as you mentioned, that's going to hurt them when they rotate in further to zones 5 and further here. But right now, not in a world of hurts. Cammy, Seti, and Teak, which you had a front row seat how they were able to put back-to-back high-performance games.
And why are we also watching Cammy, Seti, Teak right now? Why were we tuning in with Tayson, Chapix, 10 and their position? Is because these are the second and third place teams with Keffi, PKR, Melody kind of out of the business right now.
Yeah, I'm back.
These guys will
Oh my goodness.
showing us what it's like to take control of the game.
My man, how large is your house? Holy
I know
fuck.
they're both based off of consistency right now, right, Sancho?
Me?
Yeah. To pop off, get a
That's
swing.
medium, I guess.
Cost them the next game, but it'll get them first place
3 stories.
Do you have a dog?
No.
For stay 2,
I had
you
a
have
dog.
a pop-off bonus. Be pop off
happened to the dog?
capitalized with the underline.
He died.
Tayson, Hen, and Chapix were able to
this week.
stabilize, and they're rotating through here.
Oh.
Yeah.
A couple of trios that worked
Oh, I just threw my mouse across the room. Accidentally, of course.
Dip into the shields. They're in shambles. I know they're not like shambles.
Yeah, I just took my
now,
temperature
but
to
they will
39
be
now.
eventually. You're seeing the debt that's being accrued.
I just
and
feel
you're
like shit.
My guy, you're running out of credit here.
Usually they're
I feel so sleepy.
Or most teams are inside.
You're back.
6
Alright.
kind of 1 ahead, 2 ahead of where they are right now in terms of investment. You're right. Whoever gave them this loan or suggested to do this, maybe some bad advice financially, but sometimes you're forced to do things to get into certain spots. They have a good pedestal right now. If they pull zone, it'll be worth everything.
It will be, but they won't be able to defend it. They don't have the materials to kind of build up or do anything with it. So, yeah, you may be blessed with zone here, but it may be like, I'm not ready for it. You know what I mean? Don't give it to me now. I'm not ready for this hot potato.
Hey, who is ready to get hot right now is Sunny Cammy Teague. They're picking up some of these end to mid game eliminations. Still, Cammy's there getting a few. And while that happens, Savage is also picking up a few of his own as well. Meanwhile, Anas, Thomas, Queasy was talking about the 60, 70 point threshold. Check out the people that can make a difference. They got to play the catch-up games. 30 points behind right now. That first place slot. They really need to go all in and make sure this is a game they all live and convert into points.
And we saw the taste of their rotation there. We saw them last time in a previous game go down. They had to use a short pad here, and it was not enough, and they went down early here. As 10, Tayson, and Chapix here are going to try to third party sneak in. You saw the green light. That green light turned to red quickly, and they slammed on the brakes, so they did not want a piece.
Looks like the entire engine just stalled there for a moment. No chance as that zone pulls in as well. They know exactly what their goal is, where they need to be.
It's going to be a good pad here. This should get them at least no sight line. No, yeah, there we go. Got to get it to the top of this little bump here. Nicely done. Oh, you got to get up. This is a bad place to be. You got to get up here quickly before the rest of the lobby catches up to you.
Still going to be low. I'm going to be praying maybe that next zone, the 6-1 pulls a little bit towards them. A lot of their shields are going to be invested. I think all of them actually up inside this position. At the same time, look at the angle they have. An entire spray onto a mid to low ground box. It'll be very hard to edit out from over there. And Cammy said Teak will be able to assist as well. We're going to be seeing Genesis team or Tayson's team on the right side, excuse me, and then Cammy on the top just helping with support the entire time.
You know that meme that's popular where it plays that chaotic music and then it plays the classical music? That's what we're seeing. We saw a taste of it. Tayson's like chaos music everywhere, and then we have these cool chill vibes up here in the sky. But Cammy said Teak, who might have a performance here for game 4.
They actually get to get a little bit of the refreshes from the eliminations they had in the last zone because they have so much invested inside this tarp, and then Seti still has so many mats still ready to go in terms of tarps in the big base. Savage is going to be right below them. Tayson's going to be all the way on the low ground. It might be a max pull for the height team. For Tayson, Hen, and Chapik's going to be very close by to where they need to go.
I think Seti pulled zone. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. The 6th zone is, you see, Tayson, Hen, and Chapix did not pull here. They're going to use the chili chugs, which was introduced a couple of seasons ago. Last season, essentially, is, or this season, sorry. And it's like a pepper effect to be able to chug splash their way through.
Oh shit, is he still streaming?
I might just go for the chili splash and dash.
Yo, what's up, stream? Are we still watching this shit?
Connection, and this is what I'm talking about. Haven't seen it happen just yet, but a high ground position for Thomas, Anas, and Queasy. We just saw them in a mini base all the way down on low, but for some reason, every time they have height, it gets so tricky.
He's gonna win this FNCS,
Every single person wants to go and try to grab it. They have to deny as they also try to fly off of a launch pad. Meanwhile, Tayson and Chapix.
Yo, new dude, what's up?
Thomas HC and Flicker no doubt are having flashbacks of holding on to height and all of a sudden getting taken away from them as Chapix gets a knock on Benji. But you look at it, that mad dash that you were talking about is happening. Already a new team most likely is holding on to height, and Tayson and Chapix, I like this position on the low ground near the front, but they gotta be careful because Cammy, Seti, and Teak, who are on the high ground, may have made their way to the low.
All about making space and looking for control. Meanwhile, for Thomas HD, it's all about dropping down pressure and making sure no one is confident enough to challenge the people, the high ground rulers of this end game. This being a mid-ground zone as well with the river. There's so many open sidelines for height to maintain control, play every angle. Tayson, meanwhile, is kind of at home, but it looks like a little bit of a war inside the living room. He has to make sure he breaks through every single box. 10 HP inside the zone, and he's not fast enough to catch up. The door kind of closes right on his feet right there. Hendo will move all the way around from the other side. Chapix got dinner to go with Benji before, but now has to go for a reorder here inside this next box. Oh no! Acid reflux as big shots go all the way from the top side down to his head. He has to mini up again, and now it's just him and Hen. 2v3, 2v against the world as Tayson's finally knocked up. They go straight inside a box and find that big refresh. Hen takes out Flois, and he's still keeping things alive.
This is a previous trio now working as a duo. Previous FNCS champions working really well. They've been in this position before, but Noah Riley, oh my goodness, you have so many eliminations in the feed as Matzo picks up Hen. So it's now up to Chapix here with only 62 health to work with. It's not going to be easy. No mats. Will we watch another clutch as Queasy takes out Seti? So that trio's a little bit low, but now Chapix here is going to have to use hardcore, jumping off the cones, working up a build, looking for a knock-in, helpfully getting that siphon and refresh.
Gets a
he
siphon.
dipped into the right time.
Can you get the finish?
Did he get it?
Oh,
yes,
he
he
got
did.
it.
Kylie gets knocked,
0
but he's
mats as
unable
well.
to get any
He's
more
clutching up
materials,
right now
so
so
just
much.
the siphon materials.
Didn't even see how Benji's doing.
Absolutely no build.
Oh, now
Is Uguay still alive?
Yeah. And he killed
I'm watching
Janus'
it.
ex-teammate, oh my goodness.
He has the
Right,
bounce
so
back.
that.
He's not going to be able to find it just yet, though. Has
Yeah,
to
I'm
go
on
for
a
another
delay.
big siphon. It's Solo's
I don't know how to
around.
fix
He's
it.
playing all the way back into a shot.
It doesn't really matter. It's like about maximum 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, but still. Benji's still alive, Savage is still alive, Benjyfishy's still alive, oh my goodness. Let's go. You win this, boys. Second at least. Oh, nice. Bro, I want them to win. I want them to win once. Andrade gets knocked, oh no. Top 3.
Savage with not any build as well.
Nice.
Come on, Savage, you respond to me.
Benjyfishy, Benji goes down. Now it's up to MrSavage here. He's gonna
Who's
go
your
for the
favorite
edit
pro?
down.
Savage
No,
and
no,
Threats.
that's an out
3rd
of
place.
this fight.
And now you can see control, dominance.
A Nas,
finally
there we
happening.
go.
It's light of day. It's a Nas.
Oh no,
with a big
Nas. Let's see
spray
that.
and a win, a well-deserved one as well.
Let's
They
go,
stopped.
Benji.
They've
3rd
waited,
and
then
4th.
they've caught up towards that top
They
three.
went
140 points
last,
after
and
that victory Royale.
4th and
Thomas
3rd
HP
so
squeezing a
far.
Nas.
Let's go.
Are finally awake inside the
11th, let's go,
When we first
boys.
saw
Let's go.
them, they had
They're still
0
behind by-
eliminations when they took the high ground, and
They're
now
still-
they
they're
got
almost
it, and
behind
they
by
got
8
6
points.
eliminations here. Good win to
Reverse.
start off here in game 4, but we
Yeah, I
just
might
have
go to
2
bed.
more
I
games
can't
left.
fucking stay
And I
awake.
feel like we had
Like I'm about to
so
fall
much
asleep
kind
now.
of action going.
Wanna play
for it.
later?
Alright.
All preparation
Yeah,
for that day
if I'm
too.
still awake, I'll message you.
I feel like there's
Yeah,
an
okay.
absence of fear
Alright.
as well in
Good
luck
Benji
with the
because
stream.
every
Yeah,
single
thank
player
you.
on
Be
height,
safe
it looks calm
and be
collected
healthy.
on low ground. It
Yeah,
just looks
okay.
lethal for every
You
player
too.
to solo Sancho. They start looking like,
Spread
you
love
know,
to,
squads themselves as single players. It's
spread
insane.
love to
I wonder, you know, people love to
Rupert,
mimic
boys.
greatness, right? So can we say
W's, man, W commentary and chat.
retakes constantly happening over and over again. There's the pad and everything, but it hasn't been happening. Maybe
GG,
we're
boys.
not seeing it, but
Well,
from my understanding, it
we're
just
back
looks like the high ground
soloing
has been holding on to
the
high all the way from zone 4 all the way
commentating.
to close.
Absolutely. We'll see what Zeke, Levin, and Reese have to say about height and low for this session.
Sha, Loki, they're running away with it.
High and
That
low are
chat
my
looks
emotions right
refreshed,
now on this
kinda saved
roller
them.
coaster that is the FNCS Grand Royale. Levin, don't look at me. Don't give me that look, buddy. My goodness. What an
Chelsea
incredible game. And what I like out of this, we'll talk about these 2 winning teams in just a moment. Benjyfishy and Dread and MrSavage, they finally made it into your play. So this team has come
I
online.
fucking unplugged
Of
my
course,
mic accidentally.
It's after
Nice.
Malabuka goes down early, right, Levin? They get some breathing room. They
Let
say,
me
okay,
head
we
some-
can place top 3. That's fine.
Yeah, well, look, they've had 2 games where they've actually had a chance from Steamy. Both of those games, 4th place, 3rd place, a couple eliminations there. This is why we say, by the way, if they're not contested, they could probably win FNCS. We're not just fanboys, right? Like, they actually are really good. Look, there's plenty to talk about from that game, right? Where you have your 1st place team going into the game, going down in shambles. That's the makings of an exciting game, right? Because you have all these teams now
Benji,
below them, Reese,
please
who are all
tweet.
fighting to get 1st place.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Melodi's team right here with PKR and
Fuck
Kenny
it.
doing so good in the first 2 games, the 9th, the 4th, and the 7th, all with a ton of eliminations. But this game right here, going down in 29th with 0 eliminations, a 0-point match on them, is by far the worst they've had so far. They started so well, and I'm slightly concerned that this now might be a downwards turn for them.
Yeah, they're not a trio that strikes me as one as having the experience of some of the competitors they have, right? They've not necessarily been in these types of games, and so when there's a change in game state where, you know, they're sitting above everybody else.
Away? Give it away.
Where is
Away?
Let's play this really quick, chat.
Of course, Chapix as well.
Let's play 1 game until the games start.
Again, more people popping off as solos.
I don't fucking know.
This is why I said when
Fuck.
Chapix is in the
Okay,
lobby,
2
it's
games.
like, you know, there's 3 extra players, right? Because he hits shots like these.
Haven't
you just
seen
think to
this,
yourself,
probably
wow,
more.
Like, you are really someone
Bleach.
that's been doing this for a long
Higher.
time and you've not slowed down.
Absolutely. Chapix is one of the most...
I don't. I should
underrated,
more.
that's not the right
Fuck.
word, underrated, but he's just one of the most least talked
Bruh.
about players for the accolades that he has.
More.
Obviously, the FNCS Championship, the domination that his teams have had previously.
I don't
across
fucking
seasons,
know.
Obviously, in particular, season 5 and 4, they were absolutely
Don't watch
incredible.
fucking politics.
And the dynamics between
No
him and Hen
more.
are so good. Historically, going all the way back to over a year now, splitting up last
I don't
season.
fucking know.
Didn't seem
The
to
fuck
be
is
worth it. Now that they're
anti-Semitism,
back
chat?
together, 143
Lower.
points after
That looks
game
delicious
number
though,
4.
damn.
This is looking really good for them.
More.
Well, it's funny you talk about the dynamics.
That-
who
it would
came with
definitely
them to As much
Who
as
the
it seems
fuck
to
is?
work, I think their personalities,
Oh,
they're
bruh.
both big personalities.
Fuck.
We'll call it that,
That's the way
right?
to put it. Yeah.
7.
And sometimes it doesn't work, right?
We get 8.
Sometimes it's like water and oil and it doesn't mix well. But
Fuck.
in other cases, you know,
Corruption.
like today so far, it does. And you,
Who
and you
would
get
Google
first places
corruption?
from them. Looking
More.
forward to seeing that.
Okay, the next one
Benji
is gonna
versus
be less
Savage,
smart
I know
words.
11th place
Yeah.
doesn't maybe look good, but considering they basically have 2 games, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
Xanax.
games went down the sport,
Why
of
does-
course, no points out of those? But the 2 games
Yeah.
they've actually had the chance to play games out.
Our drugs so
It's not
fucking.
bad. Good amount of eliminations
Damn,
as well.
chat.
Like, this is one of the best teams in the league, genuinely.
And I'm sure people out there making a little counter. They're
Look,
going,
it's his
oh,
stream.
it's 2-2 now to
Bruh.
Benjyfishy going against Malabuka off spawn. I mean, I am not. I wouldn't be
fuck
doing
is-
that. I'm not gonna write
Well,
down on
I
the
don't
paper here,
fucking
by any
know.
means.
Doing that,
But
I don't
I
know
know
what the
you
fuck
also
that
have
is.
right now
Kevin
in the
Durant,
previous
of course,
season,
more.
right, or this season in natural.
Bro, that's
FPS
an
that we
old
saw
ass
earlier,
fish.
we've
Don't know
also
the-
seen
who
way
the
more
fuck
success
that
from
is.
Malabuka when they came off of spawn.
Violent.
Right now, we're seeing way more success from Benjyfishy.
Fuck.
Managing to be successful out of that spawn. Like you said, the top 3s in 2 of those games. Really, really good. So interesting to see how that plays out across the next 2 days.
So, why do you think that is, Reese?
Damn, only
They're
14k.
doing good. They're coming back, man. They
No.
came 23rd. They came 23rd last. They're feeling it.
Team. Just say it. They're the
The
better
fuck
team.
is
This
China
the contestant.
Mobile?
It doesn't work out.
Last-
for
The
them.
fuck is that, chat?
I think if they were on con, they would be.
Can we start the game, please?
Give them a
Holy
chance.
fuck.
Form
Okay,
them.
one more.
Watch what they'll do. They'll go win games.
More.
Why don't we keep this going with Sancho S and Charwager thoughts?
What the fuck is
are
Vietnam?
they the better team, or what do you think?
The white helmets, I don't know what the fuck that
Look,
is.
over here on the casting, that's Zeke. We're a team, right? There's no contestation.
I don't know what the fuck this is as well. The fuck is this? Am I uncultured?
In terms of who's better and whatnot. Where do you land on this, Sancho? Maybe
Bro, can we start the
we're not
fucking
on the same
game?
team in terms of who you think is better overall.
Why are
at least in
banks
this
so
competition.
fucking much? Holy shit.
Oh,
Tom and Jerry.
know, man.
You're
let the leaderboard
joking.
speak for itself, right?
Nah,
At the end
fuck
of
this
the
game.
day, right?
Fuck this
It
game.
doesn't matter. I mean, if I
Nah.
have to pick, I'm on Team Zeke all the way.
Can we
Okay,
just
I'm
start the
down-
fucking
I'm down
game?
for Zeke
I'm
in
gonna
his
lose my
prime,
brain
real
cells.
time.
Oh my
100%.
goodness.
If we could lock it in, but right now it's time for game number 5 of the Grand Royale. We'll see exactly
Oh
how
my
these teams are
goodness, chat.
adapting. Who actually ends up 3-2 off spawn to Steamy Stacks, and what is the situation?
Benji, chat.
Fight there 24/7. Our victors.
We need the
before this
Benji
game,
luck,
Cappy,
chat. We need the Benji
BKR
luck.
and Melody overall dropped from first all the way to 5th place after missing out a game. Those are the stakes, Sancho. If you're in first place right now, you're gonna want to be hungry and stay active, eating as the games go on. You
Benji,
miss one
Benji,
meal,
Benji,
you are
Benji, Benji,
outside of that
Benji,
big
Benji,
money
Benji.
potential.
Okay,
You're
we
outside of
win.
having a
We winning
pedestal
off spawn.
onto day number 2.
We
That
winning
is
off spawn,
huge.
chat.
You want to stay consistent, and right now, Hen, Tayson, and Chapix have that first place spot.
Yeah, and they have that.
Bro, nobody
spot
cares. Let's
hanging
go.
at the moment here, but
I told
that
you it works.
spot's not gonna be guaranteed. And Malabuka
Let's
gets
go.
done by Savage. So
Nah, I'm doing that every
2-2
game, chat.
already
Let's
starting off with
go.
a blow against Malabuka, and I've already said Savage and Dread Benji do really well when they get the first knock.
Nice.
Almost out of the first 2.
Almost.
Shaz was almost down.
You win this. You win this.
Yeah, he's not gonna make that much of a difference.
Please.
He had to land a huge shot right now, and he's gonna actually get.
Yo, let the man hit his minis, bro. Let the man hit his minis.
Please shut on them.
53 HP
Please,
total.
Benji.
Mustache, no idea what he's doing, but
Oh.
molding at this point.
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
Let the
Shaz
man
evening
splash.
out the skills. It's still 3v2 though. And it's gonna be 3-2 in just mere moments. A few players also gone down in other fights around
This
the map.
is dipping again.
This
Did
is
he
a
grab the
top.
card?
I
That was
understand.
kind of flying away.
Listen, I understand a few players are going down everywhere, but this is right here. This is the marquee. This is the main attraction
they're
for the
going
early
there.
game. This is what everyone has on notice. And I've seen this disengagement before, but remember what happened last time, just last game, Shio? Who was there waiting to greet them with open arms? Michael's trio waiting
Michael,
to get
please
those
shit on
rowdy
them.
points here as you see the disengagement.
Malbuka
happen.
was
The
0
fireworks
points,
happen real
chat.
fast, and just like that, it's over. Everyone leave. All right, go home. Put away your phones. Stop recording.
Okay, I'm
It's over.
okay. Back to TikTok chat.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Scram.
Ooh, let's see what we have.
No concert for Hen, Tayson, and Chapman.
No.
There is no opening performance
Maybe.
for these guys at
Yes.
all, really, except for that one game that I keep mentioning with Stompy that kind of rolled by.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
still
I'm gonna get that
confused
shit.
as to, like, what the heck happened?
Perplexed, my guy. It has to be from the Guardian. That's the only sight line that I could see that.
Chat, I told you.
Kind of shoot your way
Benji
through
is
it.
a chest
Tammy said he'd
in
take-
Fortnite.
This is you want it. You wanted to taste the Dirty Docs contest. Here it is.
Yeah, this one is a little bit more long and drawn out. For Steamy Stacks, I feel like it's a little bit more sophisticated. There's like a definite ring you can look at, and you can see, you can track the octagon of the fight and know exactly what spot is good, what is bad. People are fair, blow for blow. You'll see a disengage. At Dirty Docks, it's dirty. It's a straight fight. Everyone's just going down, getting whatever they can. If it's a 2v3, pinching it absolutely completely.
Who wins this chat?
On the line.
Putrix team or Michaels?
Right now.
I think it's Michaels. But hey, Putrix can always do anything. He did win the Cash Cup recently, I believe.
It's no holds
or last season.
That's what it is right there.
Absolutely.
No holds barred, no DQ, no referee. There's run-ins. There's madness that's happening here. But so far, this team has been splitting a little bit here. Lucia, you got some points here. I mean, it's not as drastic or it's not as black and white as the engagement out there in Steamy Stack. So if you're Lucia's trio, you got to be pretty good. And no doubt is this crash site. You see the slipstream right there. Be able to disengage. Be able to get out.
Usually a team that gets to bully them 24/7. We saw Steady Teak with a lot of early game Elam, sometimes all three off of just beaming Dirty Docks last season. But when it's contested, it's kind of harder to confirm those eliminations. When it's uncontested, you see sometimes Steady Teak propping up on the mountain, going for a few tags, and then all inning Dirty Docks, sometimes having 3 POIs of loot to work with.
Now you're seeing the leaderboard going into this match here. Hen, Tayson, Chapix here, 143. And you're seeing the rest of the board here. Save It, who's been having a great game, very quiet in that Kiriachi spot. You know what I mean? That, wait a minute, they're doing really well. If they could kind of have this performance in day 2, no doubt they'd be up on the board. Of course, you see the top 10 come out by Flow as a trio. But that's where I'm like, what's going to happen? That's what excited me the most about Grand Royale, that double the points. It's not like big bonus. It's not all about elims. We all remember that clip there of Nick Merckx and Aiden popping off, but that was all elims base. Everything is doubled, placement, and it lasts the entire match all the way up to that 60-point victory royale.
At the same time, it might end up having a few of those big bonus vibes carry over.
You think so?
Just because like teams that never usually go for elims being enticed by, you know, having
back
swings
chip.
and stuff, needing to catch up. A lot of the time
Wife.
in the 2-day format, when you're like in
Stop talking about
place,
why. Just why.
You know, when you're down bad in terms of, hey, you know, the prize pool's not going to be that different as well. If we get a little bit more, let's not try as hard. People are going to be at maximum 100% at all times. Look at the prize pool difference too, right? This is thousands of dollars the way that Grand Royale set up. It is like life-changing money in differentials. So every team's going to be pushing for it. The double points going to entice them to keep going. They're going to be online for all games. You've seen it sometimes, game 5, 6.
Yes.
Right? Some of those lower place teams get a little bit trolly with it. They go all in off spawn. They're not as reserved. But I feel like tomorrow, no matter what, every elim will matter till that last game. And people will really push to just get as many points as possible.
You're seeing the pushes that Vidil's doing, using the car. I like to call it ride and spray.
Okay.
Ride and spray, you know. I've seen that plan work out for a lot of trios ever since the vehicles got introduced. You just go ahead and just spray at multiple builds and towers. This is another taste. I'm happy that we get to see Save It, Matzo, and Amplify. Of course, Matzo and Amplify way back in Season 5 with Benji, of course, trying to restake their claim. They've been working with their Heart, Fine, and ADNs, their old school trios. Now they're picking up Save It, who's I like to call him the Reboot King, even though he's won one. I feel like when you win one, you automatically get placed that tag of Reboot King. So Save It right now. Matzo, Amplify doing pretty decent considering they come out of Coral. And you're taking a look at the mini-map. They got a clean rotation in just by using the rivers and the lakes that they're used to.
Power Save It as well. Recent signing. OCE dipping into EU.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it's about drive. I'm not gonna do it.
Not yet, at least.
I stay humble.
We're until day 2.
No, day 2. That is when it's really gonna happen here. I agree.
Force being taken out by Jose, it looks like. And yeah, the entire trio just rocks in. Bat Sniper again, getting lobby focused when there is no chance for a lobby focus, so to speak. It just feels like they're always over pressured.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there before in a tournament where you feel like every time you get eliminated quickly, and it's from different people. I don't understand. Is it the outfit that I'm wearing? It's a bad place to be, and Bad Sniper is no doubt feeling that. But now we're getting into, if this where the zone is, based on where the players are playing, Shayo, I don't like this type of plays. I've been seeing it all the time where you kind of sit up in these towers, these satellite towers, and this is where you have to hope you hit your shots. I know the semi-auto sniper from Scram's hands could do some things, but oftentimes these trios, unless Storm pushes up here, they're in trouble when it pulls off the mountain. So that's what I'm worried about. I think those trios have to hit their shots, unless of course Storm Surge is going to show up. But every time I see that beat, I'm like, I'm not going to dance to it. I'm not going to dance to it.
Hey, you get forced to once that second zone closes in. Yeah, right now in first, it might not be the biggest thing, but a lot of the times people swimming and moving by, just like you see on Melody's screen, you know, they can't go anywhere else but in these sight lines. So it's huge. Cafe will be able to help with a little bit of damage as well.
No tags, bro. I didn't see a single tag. That's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's the play to make, but at the same time, though, you'll be seeing the deals with the riding around and shooting their shots. I think, no doubt, they're going to be way ahead of Storm Surge, more so than any other team that's already perched up.
But hey, something has to be working, right? Because Kefi had first place at one point in the day. We're looking at Janice Vidal, Noah Riley, 108 points, so triple digits. They're using the same strat. They have to be staying above Storm Surge. You can't not have a good plan.
The wheels fall off.
They've been on so far though, right? Look, and Awesome Queasy doing the same thing. They're looking for a mountain. They're getting ready.
I think Levin already hinted at that. You know, the experience of Melodi's team and all of a sudden.
Hold up. What is this?
You could, that's a metaphor right there in potion. Flip over. See the Thomas AC trio knows how to flip back on the wheels when they flip. I could go on forever with metaphors. We all know the FNCS community loves when we talk about metaphors and similes. So right now, MrSavage and Queasy are at least looking really good, and their tank of gas is close to full. Oh my. Ouch.
That's what we like to see. Shimky had no chance.
No chance. That's what you got.
Camping trip in the mountains, impossible edition.
I'm gonna celebrate this. That man turned into llama for them.
Yeah, that's true.
He just did. He turned it into a llama.
Same
Look at
day delivery on all the loot. That is actually
delivery.
insane.
Yes.
Oh, now we're seeing Clemente Santos Floki. They actually haven't gotten too hot and active really at all inside the fights. They kind of, you know, test a few trios here and there in terms of picking apart some damage, backing off. This time looks like a little bit of an all-in onto Link. Oh my goodness. The default's aim, like, I forget, watching this man, was it in Rito Row? I gotta let Levin like correct me, maybe possibly. It was Rito, yeah. Like seeing him just pop off, carry teams early game, at the same time just do some insane stuff end game, especially in like reboot formats, semifinals as well. You forget how good he is, man. Like in terms of frag potential, he's top 5 in the region.
Yep. Definitely. And of course he was, well, you know, pairing up with Fremont, and that was a very scary trio when he was part of that. So let's see what this can we say. This is a scary situation going up against Aqua. Oh, fast Roki gets greeted with the blast and the trade happens. Now Reason here, who's a skilled fighter, is gonna have to hold on all by himself as Aqua's on the ropes. Just 291 above, but it doesn't matter if you get lobby focused, you're not gonna be able to survive. Goes down for a dip into Laird. Now it's gonna be able to group up together and hopefully survive this with the chug splashes. If this metal builds could fully form, they could be okay. But you're gonna have to stand just a little bit more. And this lobby's not gonna let this go. No way.
I need to know Aqua's internet service provider as well. Not a single shot going through a wall. Not a single one taken either. Insanity, but I think he finally got shotgun down. It's all up the Reason. He doesn't have the facilities basically to be able to sustain a static defense. He has to keep moving around as much as possible. Stay dynamic, and he's lost 2 teammates because of this. That was just an insane showing of just holding on, putting belief everywhere, but that's all it is really, right? Belief. It's not fully concrete. When push comes to shove, that's what happens. And Reason now, he's got it by himself, and I don't think Ariba's gonna get off for free in that POI for the next like 10 minutes, even maybe the next game. There's too many trios there.
As you see, MrSavage and Malabuka, who kind of survived that engagement out there, bringing them back, are now into trouble as well. But my pick is not looking good. Malabuka does get a trade knock. Now Malabuka is gone. But hey, you talked about sitting up on the mountain. They did do their work, 222 above. And we saw that they were able to hold on to height. I think what's interesting is sometimes you get tempted when you have height, you have no eliminations, but just like Thomas HT, Tayson could feel comfortable with that.
Ooh, let's go. We just won Benjyfishy.
Greeted with some shots. Luckily there's no sniper. Luckily there's no snipers.
That's why people get to take these types of tags and trades as well, right?
Yep.
The bases are working. Look at this though. Setting down Cammy no shields. Teak in trouble. Malibu and Mustache popping off inside the field.
Malibu gets the kill.
Hey, they disengaged and they actually have something to do with this game. Both CB Stacks trios actually active for the first time in a while inside the same game. Clement Floki also ended up wrapping up Default and Fury. No matter how many replays we have of the man rolling in, it's not going to be enough if you don't actually confirm the fight to mean much. Vidil also pops off. Musetti now fully down and Cammy back in operating form. I think they really need to win this fight. I'm not sure there's a reboot anywhere at all though.
Cammy and Sedatique have been a war at Retail Row. They have over 1,000 damage on Storm Surge. So you're just seeing how much shots they've been hitting back and forth as Cammy does get a knock there. Joe and Kylie here trying to stay alive. But Cammy, Sedatique, there's the reboot. They made a tunnel to it and they're going to bring back Seti.
I can show you how far the fall is from the cliff they're on right now in terms of being at second place, being inside the top 3. We saw Kefi, PKR, and Melody there. 106 points. They went down kind of where Seti, Cammy, and Tico right now. And then they got beat by 40 points in the next game. They dropped down to 5th. So it's a very steep, fall overall off this high point for Seti, Cammy, and Teak.
And it gets steeper in day 2. If you get 0 points in day 2, knowing that everything's doubled, yikes.
It's actually the worst. People are going to be fighting for their mental lives on that day if they end up going down earlier on or have to watch people just rack up point after point after point, but they still have the chance to come back in the next game as well. And that's also why today is so important. Right now, it's basically like playing 3 games tomorrow, right? You just combine scores from both games, you keep things consistent. It's kind of like, if you double up the games, you can double up the points. You can have the same format as day number 2. So what you want to do is have very good game pairings overall. Have a top 5 with 5 elims back to back. It'll be representative of what you can do tomorrow as well. For Tayson, Chapix, and Hen, they have a nice little cushion all the way up top. 143 points. And Seti, Cammy, and Tiki, who are watching, are second place. It's about a 30-point difference almost between both teams.
Taking a look at this zone that you see here. It's the mountain zones. I kind of talked about what's your favorite zone to see on the hype hour. A lot of the casters wanted the mountain zone. It's the ultimate test here. And I have to say that Thomas HD and Tayson, both of those trios are looking really good. Considering Thomas HD lands out there in Caddy, he's going to have that prime position on that mountain. I want to take a look at over there. Maybe we get a shot to see who has it. Yes, there they are. Look at this beautiful base. I love it. They have all these angles. They have little cheeky edits here with the half stairs, maybe a window here, a little cone edit to be able to get valuable insight. And look at that, clean. And they don't have to worry about the sniper shot coming in. They could gargoyle all they want in ego challenge.
For now, though, we saw what happens
what's up,
with these zones once
Karen?
half and half locks in. It's a banknote that you're turning on the other side. It's currency you're tumbling off your finger. What I'm trying to say is that it's a coin flip. So basically, what ends up happening for this team, if they don't pull zone and it's max, Thomas HD never is able to hold on. It's been a curse for them, I believe, all the way in Season 6, where they had a chance to really pop off and win overall, and I think got top 4, maybe towards top 3. Might be confusing with another team, but they were in, I think, this very mountain in this position, and it was just an absolute disaster. At the same time for Tayson, Chapix, and Hen. They're also moving to a certain side. The thing with mountain zones is it's so hard to play the center as well because you're teetering off from either side or you're stuck in a valley. You just have to pray that coin flip works in your favor.
Yeah, and it looks like the Spaniards right now are cooking because they were able to get Noah Riley eliminated. The Spaniards, very dangerous. Crow and Co. are looking to move up the board. They finished last season, like I mentioned, in 10th place, and it was a quite surprise here in day 1.
You can see where the power position really is for this side of the map. When you're all the way up top, a launch pad can really get you anywhere you want inside the zone. You can also rotate late, and not many people are always going to be looking up. The later the game goes, right, the more every team starts to look down towards other teams around them. So being that high up on a mountain, it's like being invisible to the rest of the map.
As we're seeing Janice here to hold on, would you want to be on the back side of the mountain or the north side of the mountain?
I want to be exactly where an Os are right now, right?
Yeah, right.
North side or back side, the highest possible point, and right now the backside is kind of overall low. There's a valley in between. There might be different creatures.
Yeah, he didn't play that smart at all.
One of them actually grabs Genesis' feet.
I like, why does he just turn and not like keep placing a stair? I don't get it.
For these guys, it's not going to be a happy ending either. They go down. Oh no, that's a power trio also rolling in that has good control of height.
Verax.
That's a victory Royale on the day as well. They get frozen in time at around 108 points. They have a flip-flop of games as well overall. First 6, 28-15th, and it looks like they're on the backside now. Teak, are you going to be able to actually harpoon this? Is there enough time? Will you risk the HP? Will you give it the position? You might have to because you're a solo player now. Sunny's not going to be there either. You're a
Benji's still alive. Let's go. Let's go, Benji.
And we talked about that steep fall. They didn't have that much in that game at all, and they're going to be locked in at 117 points in total, and they might fall so far. Queasy, Anas, they already have a lead on Sancho, and they're looking to go for so much more.
That was the second place team, folks, going down, and that's their second time they went down around the 20s. So 2 games so far not working out for the defending FNCS champions. What's working out for Thomas HD and Queasy and Nas is this position and the work with that burst they are.
These bullets must have magnets inside or something. That should just not, that's never a thing.
It's mythical, dude. Dr. Sloan put some work on it. She made it.
Absolutely crazy. 1.1, 1.2K above Surge entirely. Look at this base. Portafort's apparently unvaulted for that team. Here's Teak with the beam right now. How did Seti actually end up going down? I'm looking at him. He actually probably was way far ahead by himself. Ends up getting taken out. You have to have strength in numbers as you move in these final games. You'll see it with Elocrats flying up in the sky, but every launch pad is going to be nerfed at the moment because there's mountains in the way.
And we're seeing that Zone 5 is pulled on the south side of the mountain here, and people are making their way down, trying to save all their mats as possible. Tayson with a beautiful slide into the mountain DMs right now in a safe place with a great metal haven created by his company. And now they're looking really solid here as Thomas AC picks up 2 knocks in the feed.
They're catching up right now. This is first place field we were watching, but if you look at the Elam feed, that's second place
Savage
field
gets beamed a little bit.
Thomas HD is lining up the feed. They have the best spot on the map as well. It'll be really tough for any team to really push for the sky. They got peppers as well, Sancho.
Yes.
That'll be huge to hold on to height. If anyone does launch pad or go for high ground, we've watched it happen in mountain zones. They will be by themselves in their own universe, 80 tiles in the sky.
Bro, and they have like almost max mats for each of like 2 of them at least, over 100 apiece. No one's taking this high ground.
And look at where the zone is going, off the mountain entirely through a valley. Every second this zone moves, you're basically losing 1 tile of low ground entirely. You're getting higher if you're on high ground over and over again. So Queasy needs to start going down fast. If they slip, make 1 mistake, that's instant fall damage. That's the game just ruined.
We're just seeing this beautiful structure created here on the team on high ground. That is 3rd place going into that, and like you mentioned, overtaking 2nd place considering Cammy went down earlier. But look at the madness that's happening down on the low ground. Floki seems already moving in, but we're gonna focus in and zero in on 2nd from height. It is Tayson, Chapix, and Hen who are currently at 1st place going into this match, gliding over, and everyone's so busy dealing with the puzzle piece that is this mountain that no shots.
Wait, why did my stream
into
crash?
The POV of Tayson, and he's gonna glide on down with ease and grace.
Stop.
And be able to reconvene with his trios, and now on the front side of the storm, looking mighty good here, and they're gonna turn and burn,
did my
and
internet
no doubt
crash?
rack up eliminations.
All they have to do is just play that placement, stay alive. As long as they are, they can hold on to that top spot. Thomas will have to make everything up with just eliminations. And it should be impossible. Looking at their lead for Tayson, going for a little bit of retail space control. Gonna actually make a huge mistake and take a lot of damage.
They can't do that. Don't take those peaks that you need. You're right, because the storm is going to be a factor. You cannot peek right now just on the storm.
Yeah.
They're still so high up in the sky, you can see how far below things are dropping. And there's a bounce back over a mountain, off the mountain, back down to a beach. Melody, this is going to be a very tough song for you to sing, my friend, as a solo as well, with no mats left. This is the worst zone to be in for this type of clutch. Going to be tough, but he's holding on to a top 5. A little bit of damage back and forth. He's not going to find that much as all. Leader goes down to the feed. 1 second left for Melody. Gets and a big pump off on the backside for HP to stay alive. So many players going down around him. He's raking in free placement.
Benji's still good. Andrada's still good. Savage still good.
That last note, nicely done here, but the big song that's happening, the hit maker, is Queasy, Thomas, AC, and Nas with a beautiful hold here on height, and all they have to do is continue to apply the pressure as Queasy has enough ammunition to do so, and now Toos gets an elimination in the feed, but my eyes are right now, and where the zone, and it goes back up. That's a wrap. Call it. Victory Royale for Queasy's trio. I don't think anyone else could make it happen. I'm calling it early. Tayson might have a chance considering he just got a refresh.
got the refresh. These many pads. Every refresh they're getting right now is a team that's also
Wait,
an
Chaz,
absolute
I'm
shambles.
so
It's just
confused.
150 mats. You can barely
Where's
even
my
use that
phone?
to navigate
What?
the boxes right now.
Wait, this is
tough.
Okay, good.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Left. 8
That was
the
so
ninth
weird.
one still needs to lock in. 2's going down. Thomas HD kind of quieter on height overall. The best thing for Tayson and Chavix is they might not be able to win this game, but they're still staying alive inside the top 8. Chavix though, going down to a beam. They got exposed for half a second, and Thomas HD is there to just rip off the heads. And now,
Come on, Benji. He's still alive.
A little bit of the same type of cosplay, going for any headshots, but it's not
I think,
really
yeah,
possible.
Benji's alive. I saw
He's
this
in
game.
right now.
Let's go, Benji.
Gotta be sneaky, but have to
Ooh,
make so
damn,
much noise to
okay.
be able to
Swim
find
right
the
down.
signal. There it is. The left-right pump combination.
Careful.
Distraction there for Hen to make the shot, and now they're really moving up. No match though.
Okay,
They have to
nice.
be able to make this
Nice,
work.
Andretta, let's go.
It doesn't land. It's all up to Tayson now.
Good fucking
Tayson
shit.
here is on the wrong
Nice,
side
okay.
of this moving circle, and now he's on the wrong side, but Benji is still in this fight, and Thomas HD dips his toe into the fight and gets some elimination. He's gonna go back up,
Benji
and
gets
my
fourth
prediction,
again.
the fast forward is
Okay.
here. Got a couple
Let's
more
go.
mats, but it's a matter of moments
You're
here
doing
before
so good now.
another victory royale goes to Thomas HD, Queasy, and Anas. Book it.
I like
there
that.
it is, and a huge one it is, Shio.
That was a good match,
So
chat.
many eliminations
Love you some
make
chat.
that 10. They are
Oh,
looking
fifth?
mighty
Damn.
well
I think
and
I
mighty
forgot.
good.
Back to back for
18
Thomas,
wins, chat.
Anas, and Queasy. That's
Wow.
what I'm talking about, and they were in home turf this time.
Wow.
They showed you how things operate when you're inside their house. A VR for them. Game 5, 2 on
Ooh,
the day.
okay, only
That
up by
should be
5
close
now.
to almost
Benji
a
up to
first place
8th.
matchup, but
Tied
they're
with
looking
7.
mighty strong
They gave
right
the
now,
deal
Sancho.
chance to no O'Reilly.
Ask me anything.
Okay.
I'm in the zone. Ask me any prediction. I am in the zone. I mean, yes, it was pretty
Let's
much
go, Ben.
a helping hand there from the mountain, but it's
Let's
just
go,
a rapid
Benji.
moment. But great job done. And
Okay,
Thomas
chat, back to
HD
higher
and Anas,
alert
at least
because
those two are
this is
shaking
gonna take
off the
5,000
ghost
years
path
to
of
start
the pipe
again.
holes in previous season, and no doubt Queasy. The addition of Queasy is huge because Queasy was known as a high ground warrior when he won the FNCS championship in his run.
Absolutely.
Lower.
This is a day 2 trio as well, doing this good on day number 1. Zeke,
Of course,
what do we have to say about
fuck.
that? Are they a problem?
Shy wager, yes, of course. But really quickly, I do have to say, Sancho West is correct. He is now opened his third eye. He is trying
Bro.
to mirror Reese there on the as a caster. So Shy wager, good luck.
Me
Best of
from
luck,
like
friend.
3 seasons ago, my prediction's been way off.
What the fuck is this?
Come on,
Yeah,
let's go,
I was gonna say, I
Fuck's
think
sake.
you're giving him a bit too
Yeah,
much
no,
credit,
no,
there, big man, but you know.
How is it that
It
much?
happens. It
Cap.
happens. A great game
Red
coming
more.
out. Queasy, of course. I don't know how Sancho West finally tapped into that third eye and said, "That's it, game over. Call it." 22 people
Good
left in the
Google.
game. This is Thomas HD win, baby. I
It's
know.
so
I can see the
good,
future,
man.
but hey, they come out with 10 eliminations
yeah.
as well. Now, I love this, but we can't forget about tomorrow, right? Think about this in tomorrow setting points. If this is happening tomorrow, they can more than likely going to close out this tournament with these kinds of points.
Well, yeah, of course, they had a great game, but they're also being
That was
helped by the fact that
3
some of their
oh
biggest
my goodness.
competitors had some struggles. Right, you look at that game.
Who would do this?
Who have been
I
so
would.
consistent throughout the
Even if you
course
pay me
today,
$1
but
billion,
they
except
ran
for 5
into a
ball,
bit
and
of
I'm
trouble,
okay.
Which is unlike them, it seems, Iris.
Yeah, it's very, very like them. We're used to seeing top 10s every single game for them, double points, but we saw SETI go down in that engagement in Retail Row, eventually get rebooted by Teak, which is great, but they were just in such a late position. And you can see them rotating all around the east side, which we saw. We saw Cammy being picked up alongside SETI on this rotate. It was too late for them, unfortunately. Did get the elim onto Michael, but Teak
Oh my
eventually
goodness.
ended up going down. That engagement in Retail Row really, really, really messed
Let's
them
go.
up. But let's be real, we can't do anything but celebrate the back-to-back
Fuck.
wins of Thomas HD, Queasy, and Anas.
Okay.
Yeah,
you
nah,
do.
really, really good stuff. Look, I want to sit here and give you, expert analysis. These guys are just really good, right? You can see the height hold here. We've spoken about this before, but we'll emphasize it again. Thomas and Nas and
Check
and
where,
Flick
chap?
of the past, they weren't the best on height. They do it sometimes, but when you add Queasy, someone who is just a height veteran, it just gives you so many more options, and it's made them that much stronger. Then when you have a Thomas HD who's gonna somehow survive situations like this because he's just an unreal human, I really don't get it, Thomas. You're just gonna win games. Like it's a perfect formula.
It really
per
is.
se.
I actually wasn't sure how this team would do. Like when they combined, putting that Queasy power in there, I was thinking, are these guys going to be like the height dominant force that we've seen? Are they going to be a mid or low ground team? They just do it all right now. They've managed to get 2 back-to-back big
Facts.
heights. Huge from them.
Facts,
They've now
chat.
caught up so close to Hen, Tayson,
Bro,
and
can we
Chapman's only
get some
4
Fortnite
points
fucking
behind,
tweets?
but
Holy
look at the
shit.
gap between second
I'm
and
getting
third
pissed.
so far. Seti, Cammy, and Teak performing really, really well today. Almost kind of showing why they're so good. But look at the distance. Still almost 40 points between it.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive stuff from them. I think they've really grown as a trio in such a short amount of time.
Malbuka 19th.
Where we have Flois, Hellfire, and Scram in 11th. Bit of a rocky day from them, right? A couple games where they've gone down a bit too early, it feels like, in those moving zones. But nevertheless, a lot of these teams here
I
are
need
not
to
out
see
of
the
it. In fact, a lot of
price.
these teams here will be thinking, day 2, it's over. Double point, I'm really coming for you. Now, I'm going to say something that some people might find unpopular. They might not like me for this.
Hot take, okay.
The first place team, Hen, Tayson, Chapix. I don't like.
Wait, you get the Axel champions?
They have been great. The pop-ups have been great. The individual brilliance has
Okay,
carried them. Like, their brilliance is crazy. But they seem a bit disjointed at times in endgame. Hen sometimes all over the place. Tayson on his own doing Tayson things.
3-0, damn.
And sometimes it works, like today. And
So far, Benji would get.
Unit, it feels like right now. And going into tomorrow, you
I
really
believe
want
he would
that
get
along with the individual brilliance.
Yeah, they have to be able to perform every single match, keep it together, and I'm totally with you, to be honest. We even said this in the back when we were watching. We keep seeing Hayden tarping, and then usually he's the one who's sitting right at the back. Maybe they're trying something up a little bit different. Maybe he's just taking over moments, but we've also seen so many duo plays in endgame, which end up clutching into solo plays, which get them tons of points because that individuality that's so good from them. But they're not doing it as one cohesive unit, like you said.
It's a curveball. It's a red herring. It's a distraction. And then day 2 they're coming back and be like, all right, guys, now we're playing for real. Sorry about that. We're just trying to, you know, just confuse you a little bit. Then tomorrow the real games begin for them. This is it. Last game in Europe. I don't know how this day has flown by. I know. It's all right. It's it. This is it, man. We're doing this one last time. So, Sancho, a shot wager. Back over to you.
Let's go, the Game 6 vibes. Rolling in for day number 1. A whole slew of games with double points tomorrow. But this one, Sancho, it's huge.
Are they at their home in front of a green screen, or are they in
20 points ahead,
like in the headquarters?
Of everyone else in the pack. This is the game that decided who is the victor after the day ends.
I'm still reeling from that hot take from Levin. I'm like, what did he say? Like, what did he say? That Hen takes
No, listen. I'll tell you what he's saying, right? It's true. At the same time, this last game was a mountain zone, right? Crazy things happen. If I'm playing a mountain zone in EU, you know, yeah, sometimes my fragger ends up tarping. Sometimes my mom comes in the room and has to tarp for me, man. It gets crazy. It's so hard to handle. Obviously, people get disjointed, Levin and Reese. It's the mountains.
There's only one mama in the EU, and that's Mama Fishy, okay? No mama wager in the building.
All right.
You never know. Respectfully, respect. But, yo, it is the last game here of the Grand Royale Day 1. The great appetizer that we're about to see for tomorrow's double point fiesta. And here we go. Savage, Benji, and Dreda right now. This is what always happens with the Malibu Cup battle. Is eventually they split, right? They disengage a little bit. And still, I would say it's even. I haven't seen... What do we see here?
Storm Surge already active with Savage and Benji as they take 25 damage over and over again as they lock into the POI.
That's Hottie's trio.
That's Hottie's trio. They disengage. It goes well. Is it the same for this game, Sancho?
Oh, that's so cringe.
No, see? My mind's eye is still being active, but no, this is what ends up happening. Malibuka eventually overpowers them. This is what happened last season, and when that first knock happens here, they take the Malibu card. It's not going to go.
I'm actually getting pissed. What's the dumbass true that did that?
Doom POI and the fact that you get people trapped all the way down to the bottom. Keep spraying them. Doom's domain, yes sir. How did that word even escape me? So much beef happened. Maybe I'm just trying to suppress it in terms of all the off spawn finds. Too much history. Savage and Benji though, their history might be just written for the day here real quick, unless Savage ends up popping off 3 big pumps back to back, or maybe just
shut the fuck up. You have 71 points in.
From Shizo, the emote. That's what I'm talking about. Keep it spicy. But hey,
bro, my man didn't gain any points in 3 freaking games, and does that.
We could call them the better trio definitively on day number 1.
Just like that, in the blink of an eye,
it's
the last tasty moments that Indreda, Benji, and Savage had is a big fat L. And now they're going to go ahead and think about that, sleep on it. And as you just see, it's just a matter of just materials versus
you're still going to be probably
point.
top 10 shot.
It might just also be better off spawn on day number 1. Let me not get too ahead of myself, because if you look at the standings overall, 8th place for Andretta, Benji, and Savage, 115 points overall. You gotta scroll down a bit to find Mustache, Malibuka, and Shizo. They make it off. They had one good game, 2nd place, 10 elims overall. The other one's 20th, 27th off of the disengage.
Holy shit, but they're
I mean,
so
they might have the last
cringe.
laugh so far, but I feel like Benji, Savage, and Andretta might be the ones, you know, with the complete comedic showing, just laughing back at their opponents because they're gonna be high on the boards, rocking in day number 2.
We will see. Time will tell. As we see here, Verox, Michael, and Astro, the other part of the early fights that we've been seeing here down in Dirty Docks. I would definitely say it's been going Verox's way. As Safik, Lucian, and Patrick are still kind of in there. Maybe it's a draw. I would say this one is a draw, considering that Safik, Lucian, and Patrick are still doing well. And look at the beans, Safik, my goodness.
He's got a lot of pent-up aggression right now because they've been fighting over and over again. Even if they make it over towards the mid game, which I don't think is, you know, the craziest thing to think about with 2 teams going to Dirty. Sometimes they're disengaging. They get bullied by other teams all the way around. Good looks for Analyx, though, probably fixing some mistakes or aggressional issues all the way towards the end of the day, picking apart Fork as this game gets started. Gonna be a stalemate here, though. On this last one, you got to remember, you know how we always say placement's huge, but then elims are something that affect placements?
Yes.
Day 2 is basically like the placements, and day 1 is like the elims, if you're trying to use it as a metaphor. Yeah, you have double points tomorrow, but this last game means a lot, especially if you can rack up a lot of points.
Now we're seeing this aggression here from Andalix. I've seen this happen before. They will go into Camp Cod and fight here. Chico is going to go on a build-off here to hold on, but it's going to be a matter of moments before 4ZR and X-Sweeze close out Chico.
Took a lot of damage and used a couple of builds getting towards this fight. Andalix 2 dodges a few shots. Very nice to keep this 3v2 in their favor. A little bit of haircut. Fireflies down on wood builds and to make him burn. Switching over to Brick. Andalix is fast on his feet. Meanwhile, Chicky distracted. X-Squeeze does his little bit of a breakdown plan, it looks like, but he's gonna send his own builds on fire. Chicky now on a time clock because everything's gonna just burn. He understands that, starts to go a little bit lower. All inning for this one. Has a lot of mats to be able to keep this 2, but he takes a big pump shot, and now he's in trouble.
Now we're seeing Chico here trying to hold on. This whole thing might come down soon. There it is.
Man.
Never mind. All of a sudden, 4ZR sneaks up, gets a shot here. Great defense from Chico, trying to stop the inevitable. But it could be a matter of moments. Here it is. And Squeeze really wants this elim. Did they pad up there?
Not enough.
I think they want it. They want to get this over with. Send a message.
Like vultures just rolling in, but on living prey, 161, not gonna be enough though. Chicky does a double take. Huge elimination, making it a 2v2. This is gonna be tough. Squeeze now, trying to keep 4ZR alive with a few of those splashes. Not gonna be able to keep that body warm. Unfortunately, he goes cold. And Chicky now taking a lot of damage. Won't have minis to actually pick this one up. 4 HP, no materials. X-Squeeze and Analyx really putting down the pressure. Aqua also putting a fight in the feed, but focus now onto this one. Jimky and Chicky low. They've made it close and personal as well. Analyx, a mean shot from up top and keeps him inside the box. Gonna wait for him to get taken.
Analyx drops
here. Goes all the way down low and possibly has a way to break this down, but it's above water. It won't really matter.
Let's take a look at the replay. What happened to Andalix here, setting up the ambush. Andalix trying to get up the board. That's where it started, considering he is 23rd going into this match here. Andalix X-Squeeze so much invested into that fight. And just for a minimal elim points here. But it's all about sending a message. And if you're a Chico, you got to feel good about defending against a former FNCS champion.
Yeah, not only that, just look at the extent they're going to, right? Landing at Misty this early, like before the first zone even locks in, going for a fight all the way at Camp Cod. They're really trying to get any points they can in this final game of day 1. They want to be able to make a difference overall with the record they have on this day before those double points lock in.
Just love listening to these engagements. They're all trying to figure in, this is like a stalemate, a grid between Aqua sneaking in the shot. I'm hoping Aqua is that dark horse for number 2, and they're gonna go ahead and use the slurp truck and save all that valuable shield. And it's basically like a refresh in itself. It's refreshing to feel that slurp get you back into the good health and standing of 200 HP. And Now it's going to have to be a defensive hold from Aqua Roki, which so far have not had the day that I expected them to have.
Really? I think they did.
I don't know. I mean,
Did you not predict the day 2 team? You said in day 2 they pop off?
Yeah, but I didn't think day 1 will go this poorly.
But does it matter what they do on day 1 if they're going to pop off day 2? Think about it. Day 1 is equivalent to 3 games on day 2.
I know, but it's about performance. I wanted to see them in-game. I wanted to see them have good storm rotations and things. I'm definitely going to take a look at what went wrong, but from what I've seen, their performance in cash cups and things of that sort, they had command of their lobbies. They understood how to take high. Their rotations were clean, and right now, I don't think they have a game plan going into day 2. That's what's concerning me.
For me, I just like to see Aqua get his losses out of the way first. That's usually how he operates, right? I think that's what the wave was last season, unless they had an earlier win. But they're not going to be the stars of the show. Absolutely. It'll be this trio in front of us right now making the catch up. Thomas HD, 17 eliminations. And once again, you know, we've heard of like, I guess, Spidey sense overall, right, in media. I feel like there's like a Thomas sense that's happening when he's on height that gets activated. The second someone makes an edit that exposes their head, Thomas HD's shots are just there, naturally. You saw it with Chapix. They tried to just move from one layer to another. I think 0.75 seconds, run the stats or something, of his body exposed, instantly taken out by Thomas HD. Thomas HD walks into an endgame with 5 elims. This man is just the boss.
And the boss is putting down all the costs to everybody, leading the lobby with the most elims. You saw that 3 shot there. That is our top 3 trios currently in this fight. It looks like Tayson, Hen, and Chapix. This is where they got a victory royale, right? They kind of chilled up here in this blue antenna, and they were vibing.
Yeah, this is where they've looked the least disjointed. I know Levin and Reese were talking about it, and it is true. You know, with that last game, especially being on mountains, besides that, just the roles have been a little bit swappy. It's been desperation that has been working out for the trio overall in day number 1. Continue that, but also fix it. I want to see some nice, good synergy from all players on day 2. Tayson will take a little bit of damage. It always happens inside these surge bases. You know, this is not disjointed gameplay at all. This is just what's expected. But look at why I want it, right? 168 to 164. These guys are very close to just being defined first place overall. And they need to be a team to do that in this last game.
I got that. I mean, I know that was the beat for Hen, Janice, and Chapix when they were a trio. You listen to their comms, and they're not on the same page, but they always end up winning. They always get the job done, and you kind of swap out Janice for Tayson. That's champion for champion. Tayson is a 3-time FNCS champion. Jason is a 2-time FNCS champion. They themselves are FNCS champions. So I get it, but it works. It's like, it's not traditional. It's not synergistic, if that's a word, but it works. You know what I mean? Not other trios, they can't do that, right? I can't do that. You can't do that. Benji and Dreda and Savage, they can't do that, but trios, they can.
This fight's still going on. What the fuck?
I'm just saying, when it comes to day 2, and that I think is the most important thing about this. On day 2, when everything's worked double points and teams are really playing like teams. Actually, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe being the opposite of that, going against the grain, might work for them. But look at every team that's gotten taken off early so far today, Sancho, right? Like, or 2 players going down, and it's not Thomas HD's trio or Malibucas we're looking at. Look at the commonality in all of EU. People just end up suffering or at a loss and get picked apart. They become, you know, the cannon fodder, the siphon for the big teams to pick up on. On day 2, it'll be even tighter.
I really feel like this is going to be the... I thought they had us the first half, not gonna lie. And everyone's kind of placing their best in the second half. Safik, Lucius, and Putrik here trying to make their way through. Some great hold as Michael goes down. And so far, like I mentioned, the stalemate, it's a long and drawn out. And sometimes it happens here because the storm has been here, the safe zone. But they are able to look tall right now and move up the leaderboard.
When I'm looking at a zone that's kind of similar, I think what we had in game 2 or 3 overall, and very close to the one that I think Anas Squeezy just won. So South Dirty side, I think about it's just been exactly that game 4 and 5 where Squeezy and Thomas took it back to back. It's also the game where the first place team placed 5th and 7th. That's Hen, Tayson, and Chapix. They have a chance. And this is something unique to this season. The Shadow Flopper type beat, Shadow Cube type beat even. Astro looking to just stay alive right now.
Is he gonna drop down on one of them? I think he is.
He's going for the screw. He sees him in the butt. Never expected.
Damn.
Astro Meteor. And Screwy goes down.
That's the play of the day. That's the play of the day. The play of the day.
That's what we like to see. And past that, there's not going to be much, but
worth.
he gets those 2 Elam points for his team, right? That's the way.
100% worth. Maybe get a little bit more. Oh, we got a previous replay of what went down at Dirty Docks here. The lever action shotgun and Astro clipping it, getting it done. Clip it, ship it, post it. Get those impressions, young man. Get those impressions.
And Tayson Chapix, this is going to be very important for them to stay above Surge and not really think about it for that 4th and 5th moving. That's where this base becomes a little bit tricky and you have everyone close beside you.
I was just go back to the replay. I don't think Screwy knew that was going to happen because they vaulted. They vaulted the shadow. He probably scared him half to death. They vaulted the shadow flopper, right? So that is not here, and that was a big factor last season. You saw Queasy's trio. They do a lot of the shadow flopper play with the launch pad. We vaulted it, no longer there. So you have no expectation that someone's going to shadow stone right into a bush that you have no clue that someone's going to do. So, oh my, I know Halloween's passed, but I guess it's not over yet for some.
Now there was a definite reaction. You could see like in the bush when Astro hit the 160. You see Screwy just look at him. I can't believe you've done this. He goes for the spray. There's absolutely no way he could even react. Like, what do you do in that spot?
Take the L. Take the L. Take the L.
Thomas and Us though, they're gonna take some space right now, Sancho. Look at this space.
I like it, and we saw a taste of this in-game before next to this crash site. Last time it didn't really go up the mountain. It kind of went closer to the north side here. As you're taking another look at the leaderboard, still no major movements. It's basically the same. The big surprise is, I would say Keffy is here in the top 5. It was quite exciting, but no one should be really surprised about Crow because this one is the same position last season.
I'm gonna read out a few of those points as well too. So obviously you saw it and we've been mentioning it, 4-point difference for 1st and 2nd. And this might just be, I guess, a reference to duos happening next time in the future, but every single team basically has a dual partner of a team matched with them on points. So Seti Kemi Teak 126 to another 126 of Keffy, PKR, and Melody. Deoxtro and Jose 118 to 118 with Save It Up. We'll find Matzo. 115 for Benji's team and Janice's team. 107, 106 for Hadi and Karma. Everyone basically has someone to beat, an opponent in the ring. It's a head-off, just complete face-to-face matchup with someone else on the field, and it might be someone you base up with, share the same layer with, but this is where you try to go for a little bit of individuality and some space for day 2.
What's been happening to Kemi, I think when they had that 1,000 Storm Surge, normally you would think that's great. But like I mentioned in the earlier the cast, folks, what gets them in trouble is being next to people on rotations that need Storm Surge. They got themselves in trouble. They had poor positioning out there in retail row, and they ended up in the box fight. They don't want to be in the box fight. They want to be center. They want to have
By the way, Chap,
clean satellite
I
dishes
urge you to play Watch Dogs 2.
Maybe
that game is so fucking good.
Peanut butter added freely, and that's what they want to be. Kemi Seti Teak,
Well,
they are
it's
capable of defending themselves against the WP.
GTA is,
but not
I
against
don't
2 or 3,
know.
and that's
Like,
when they get in trouble, and
both
that is why
games
they
are
begin
amazing.
slipping here, and that's why they drop those matches.
It would be hard for me to choose between GTA and
Cannot slip at all, and right now
Watch Dogs.
it's kind of free for the 115, I guess, point weight matchup.
I would
But
probably
at the
play
115 point
GTA.
battle,
Because I played that game more in,
enemies
like
did
it's
not show
GTA.
up. They basically
You
didn't
can't
make
go better
the
than
cut
that.
at all. And Dread Benjyfishy Savage eliminated off spawn over at Stevie Stacks.
Watch Dogs is up at top 5 or 10 game of all time, definitely.
Right above them by 3 points. At the biggest heavyweight spot all the way
I don't know
towards
which
the top.
one.
I like this.
40 points above everyone else.
Yeah.
Both
You got
were
Tayson and
both were
Chapix.
amazing
They're also looking at
games.
one of the best spots on the map entirely. They have to move to their opponent's will as well. You see that orange mountain? That's exactly where Queasy, Anas, and Thomas are. 4-point of a weight difference between the teams. And Tayson wants to stay alive to upkeep it. The dangerous thing, though, these guys are endurance-based fighters. They stay alive all the way to the end of the game. Thomas HD comes swinging hard. If he's alive in the end of the game and his team is there too, they get more points, I feel like, from what I'm seeing on average, than Tayson, Chapix, and Hen.
And to combine all that, the pricing is going to matter because the ranking where you mentioned right there is like literally tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake here. It's the biggest prize pool of the year in the Grand Royale. First place gets $600,000, and even fifth place gets $120,000, all competing for Fortnite, and that's just in this EU region. So that is why you talk about those pairings. Each one of those is going to matter because there's thousands of dollars on the line for each one.
Squeezy and us, all they need to do is just find a little bit of advancement inside the zone to get their fight started. 171 points. The elims that Queasy has are gonna make them basically just be one elimination behind Janice's team overall, or Tayson's team overall. Apologies, gotta keep making that fix. These guys always swapping teammates, especially when it's a duo swapping. It gets tough, but at the same time, they've made it in. They've used that pad, and that's really good. They've saved that pad before launch. We saw them go on foot. Thomas take a lot of damage. They actually have a fight to take right now. They get this refresh. It's huge. They set themselves up to basically win the entire day. It's up against Malibuca's team as well.
Let's go.
Driving force inside the end game. Shizo's down. I think Mustache got knocked as well. Thomas HD is gonna have a huge cost trying to go for the loot. They'll be able to heal up. They've used a lot to get here though. One inventory slot free from all teammates. They don't own any of these builds. Launch pads completely gone. They need to get to the loots. The eliminations aren't just enough. There's hungry trios around them. Andalex, who's literally under 70 points rolling in towards the end of the day. Pushing for eliminations, is looking for his next target as well. And that might just be Thomas HD.
We need to know if they have the mobility. If they have the mobility to roll on in, they're going to look pretty solid. But considering that you said they expanded and used some of that mobility, that may cost them here. But they're still going to hold on, still in second place in this fight.
They're down atrocious. Thomas HD doesn't even have a med kit to use. Forced to splash up to get his HP there. And those are crucial shields to be used towards the end game. They only have 2 peppers as well, so one player is going to be left absolutely slow on the field, already moving through. Queasy taking a bunch of damage. They have to get towards the zone. They're very close to it. They base up, looking good for now, but this is desperation. Above on Surge, low on mobility, low on a chance to win out the day.
They have to avoid the people that might need a W key. Malibuca and Mustache are still on their feet. They were able to withstand that battle. They did lose Sizo.
It's the same on both sides. Hen, no shields. Tayson out of utility completely. Just has the weapons to use right now. A green charge for this end game is not what we usually see him with. Malibuca finally down to Thomas HD. Something's happened on that side of the feed. Fury also getting picked up. Tayson looking for something, a community pad, anything, a sense of power from a team. What a shot as well. 78. That'll be huge for the Surge. That happens in a moment, but maybe Thomas has something now after that pick. I wanted to tune in with either team. Doesn't matter. This is going to be rough for both of them to make it out of this point. We haven't seen them do it before. If they do, this is the spot to do it in.
Andalex gets an elimination. Will this be the game that set up that day 2 push from Andalex's trio here? We're still locked into Tayson here, our first place in day 1, who shook his head no when Shayo asked, does he have enough? And he said, no, I do not. So let's see how it goes down here. And they pull Max. This is bad. They need a community pad. There is that pad up there, and they're going to race to it. They have to make sure they don't get tagged on the way. This is going to be a crucial rotation for this trio.
And absolutely naked on shields, has nothing to really work with. Diving in the box, the pad gets placed down at the same time they fight. Chatfix with 1 HP, barely even makes it past the zone.
No.
Damn. Where they need to go. This is trouble.
He's so lucky.
Upward elevation as well. Tag down to 30. His teammates are down. His wings clipped on both sides. This man is now grounded. Has nothing to do, nowhere to go. Water below him. A big mountain in front, and everyone's kind of just wave past by. It's a tsunami of builds, and he doesn't even have a surfboard to be able to be active and just glide across from it. 31 HP from Chatfix. What can he do from here?
Our top 3 is still in this fight, but Chatfix is now a solo. What he can do, Shayo, is just hold on. We've been seeing clutches throughout the entire day, and this is going to be a nice clutch. 31 HP. It's the bounce back that's going to be crucial, but it's the harpoon as well, because he's going to be able to be aggressive and get into builds. In a cone, setting up a trap. Can Chatfix get one?
Thomas HD getting knocked and eliminated inside the feed. Queasy with a response though, as Sapphik goes down, and Os is there to pick up the scraps from that fight. So a 1 for 2 for that team. Chatfix though still alive. The placement rolling in. 182 points. It's a fight for first and second place overall in their own island. Once again, they're up at least 50 points against their entire competition inside the EU server. This is the final game of day number 1. Janice goes down. Also up the top, but
Zeddy.
low ground.
Damn.
Cammy and Teak
No.
flip the script on the server, and they're the ones who have heights.
Third place is sitting on height, but first place is in the low, and second place is on the low ground. And Nas and Queasy have to work together. Thomas HT, who has been the superstar with the clutches here, is gonna have to rely on his teammates to get the job done. They got the builds to be able to build around here. It's a slight elevation that will eat a little bit more. Things gonna get tight, but that purple charge shotgun from a Nas, one shot could get a knock, and he has it set up perfectly. Does not find it. It's gonna have to reload, reset that pressure cooker that Monster likes to say, and now they're working together here, and the chaos on up top is Cammy Set and Teak. They need to close this out, but they need those eliminations as well, Shio, because this is what I'm talking about. Tomorrow's bonus points, two-time day 2.
Difference maker possibly for the whole tournament here, and it all ends on day number 1 so far.
Monaco is
picking up a few more. Cammy popping off as well. It's just beams from the sky. Anas waiting, watching. Bill's running low. They have the utility in zone.
Bro, Monaco, I always just think about the fucking city.
Queasy's gonna set up the shot. Anas is gonna hold that pressure shot with the charge shotgun, and Queasy's gonna open up data. That's what they're trying to set up. There it is!
Situation up to 6. Sky pops off. Anas has room to move, and a big upgrade. Legendary gold pump shotgun. A back-to-back win on game 4 and game 5. Game 6 is rolling in as well for this team. Dual operation. Kempy's still alive.
Wait, what, do you have 2 wins already?
They're home for the moment. Anas and Queasy are taking this patient. No room for mistakes. They're making sure every build in front of them is completely beamed. They have the time, have the patience. All Queasy needs to do is make that room for Anas. One player on their layer. Anas, though, absolutely affected. Final minis popping off here. They only have one box to really move with. It's claustrophobic. Anas can barely even breathe. They go even lower down in low ground. Knees actually hurting. The bones are tweaking and breaking. It's going to be tough for them to move out from this situation. Anas has to move all the way in. 100 HP total to work with 5 different teams. The clock is ticking. Anas and Queasy can really just push first so far right now. They're the only ones really in their elements. They're quiet, waiting for the next moment to strike. Andalex is still popping. PKR is making his way up in the top 5, but here it is, finally inside the zone. A moment for an all-in, and Anas misses the shot. Queasy's there to maybe pick it up from the backside, but no, it's Kempy popping off. Teak all the way up top in a final 2v2. Cammy is alive in this final river. Who's gonna be washed off the shore? The 1v1, and Teak is left on a lifeboat. PKR is gonna be traded out for that one. Cammy's got the floppers, though. He's been the fisherman all the way up on high ground. He's playing that heel-off, playing the final game of EU perfectly from this spot up to 170 points. The champions do not count themselves out here today. Getting one win before and then rocking it off.
This is it. Queasy and Nas Thomas HD with first place with 200 points for the first day. And it's PKR's trio, Cappy and Melody second. Nice, let's go Underrated, guys. And Tayson Chapwick's third. Sadie Cammy T fourth. Seabit, Uncle Five, Matzo fifth. Vidil Janice, Norelli sixth. Lois, Hellfire and Scram seventh. Deox, Crow, and Joseph, 8th place. Joe, Karma, and Kylie, 9th place. ETQ, Hottie, and Elocrats, 10th. So yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Keffi's trio, a big surprise here in day 1. I'm interested to see if they're able to keep up that momentum in day 2. And that is day 1, folks. Don't forget, tomorrow everything's going to be worth 2. So if you go down early, you lose. If you're a Benji fan out there, if you're any of these...
Okay, boys, I'm gonna go. If you enjoyed the stream, be sure to like, subscribe, share. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. This was an amazing stream, and hopefully you'll have an amazing day. And I will see you all later. Peace. Mail up.